A crossover is
crossover dribble.
crossover.
Kyrie Irving, crossover in the lane.
One of the most famous crossovers of all time.
Behind the back, an ankle breaker on Chris Paul.
Crossovers.
The crossover continues to evolve.
Crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Boy, how good is it to hear that, Mr. Connor Happer is back to work.
Hey.
Woo!
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
I am here.
Hey, buddy, you look refreshed too. You know, I thought I thought you'd come in with the
That cannot be true.
I think that's right.
You got them I thought you'd have the bags under your eyes and stuff. No, you look spry, my man.
We'll see what happens tomorrow. You know, I'm running off of pure adrenaline tip right now.
No, just got a little more gray in the beard.
Yeah, I'm good to. I'm happy to be back.
Yeah,
happy to be back with my friends talking
Recharged.
about sports. Got a lot of takes.
Oh,
I've
I bet.
been saving
weeks of
for the last
of takes.
3 weeks.
What about fatherhood takes? You got some fatherhood takes?
I don't know. I'm sure stuff will come up.
Overrated, underrated, properly rated.
What is the rating? Do most people think it's? Do most people think it's good, or do most people think it's
Good
bad?
question. What's the baseline? I would say most people think it's good, right?
Yeah, it's definitely.
You guys
good.
can teach me. You guys have the kids.
Everything went well, though. It sounded like, and no hiccups or anything in the process.
Not anything.
After
Not anything that anybody wants to hear about.
Yeah, you don't have to get into any major details or anything. But yeah,
I don't think so.
when humans saw the
Talking
light of the
placenta.
world.
We are not
placenta overreaction. No,
dear God. Yeah, no, I think everything went pretty well. We got a happy, healthy baby.
Did you take my advice on what to order at the hospital?
I did.
Did you get the breakfast burrito?
I did.
Hell yeah.
What'd you think?
I did.
Nice.
Did I overcook it?
God, you know what? I thought about this last night in anticipation of you asking me about this, and I
I'm
thought,
glad, man, you're a pro.
and I thought, oh my God, that was so long ago. That was such a long time ago.
Yeah,
That's right.
It was.
I mean, 2 year.
So I'm trying to recall the stay and the time at the hospital. Yes, great people out at Methodist Women's Hospital.
I've heard good things.
Great, yes, and definitely a great cafeteria setup. They had some good meals. I did take your offer or your suggestion on the breakfast burrito.
Yeah,
and it was good.
Okay,
It was definitely good.
I think it was more that I was very surprised on how good it was because I assumed a hospital breakfast burrito, you're probably gambling one way or the other.
Yeah,
I was actually very pleasantly surprised.
you
So I've
might
sold that thing a lot.
Yeah, you might have oversold it.
That's like
That's
Gary's
all.
hotel hack. Just go have the free
Oh,
breakfast.
yeah, the free breakfast. Yeah,
I do that.
Is that a hack?
Yeah,
Go to the
well,
hospital
you
and
can
have a
try.
burrito.
No one will stop you. They'll just assume that. They know what they're
yeah.
doing.
It's cheap, you know.
Yeah, you go.
It's cheap in there, which is nice.
Did you actually
I
pay
don't
for
know
it?
if I don't know if the hospital breakfast is cheap. Actually,
Yeah, did you pay for it?
When you just talk about the hospital food by
just
itself,
You have your wife just order for you.
so
They're not gonna
yeah,
question that.
I was the one calling down to the cafeteria, to the room service people, and I was
Oh.
like,
You're too honest, Connor.
they were like, "Who are you?" You know, I'm like, "Well, I'm not the patient," you know, obviously. And,
But I am hungry.
and yeah, they were like, "Well, hers is free. Yours is going to be $6 or whatever." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay, whatever. Put it on my tab."
Did you have a beer?
No.
Okay.
I've had very few beers over the last
Really?
3 weeks. I had a couple beers at Josh Peterson's fundraiser
Okay, yep.
to help support the community. Josh, we got some nice kickbacks on that.
I heard. I'm excited.
We won.
Oh, did you?
Me and Josh won a part of the raffle.
Congratulations.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Do you know what you won?
I won some cookies.
Okay.
I won something to Fleet Feet.
Yeah, Josh loves
really?
running, so
He
he got
does.
he got new
Yeah.
shoes.
I take the cookies though.
Nice. Fleet?
The cookies. The kookaburra cookies. Hello.
Oh, okay.
And that's like a whole dessert in a cookie. Have you ever seen one of those things?
Yes.
I mean, they
Are these the ones from Council Bluffs?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
first experienced these at Creighton. They started getting them at Creighton games last year.
Oh, really?
And
Like in the media?
Yes. And they,
What?
yeah, you got to go to some Creighton
My
games.
God, I do.
They're hooking people up. Also, a shout out to Mike Odom over at Creighton for sending another piece of clothing for my young child. She has long eclipsed me in clothing.
So
we
now
have
a Creighton fan?
we got Creighton gear. I ordered the Royals didn't send me anything, sadly, weird. But
How dare they?
I got her some Royals stuff.
Baby's first Bobby Witt.
The Storm Chasers hooked us up with a little onesie.
Oh.
So we feel very loved, thought about, cared about in the community.
The
which is
only
great.
onesie I got from anybody other than like friends or
and
family.
1620 the zone, of course, too.
Well,
Sorry.
yeah, you had the
1620 the
baby.
onesie.
Yeah.
That was good. Was it the onesie? Is that what it's called? Or the baby?
1620 the baby.
The baby, yeah. The only thing that I got from anybody outside
That's why I should
of
sign up
my
for the emails.
family was Millard North baseball.
Look at that.
Yeah,
That's
Millard North
awesome.
baseball, and
You guys got
then
stuff?
they got them like a little 3/4.
You guys are
I
getting
did.
paid for this?
Oh, wow.
You should have seen. I feel like you would have got some Reaver gear.
There's gear.
I got a weekend of paternity leave.
A weekend.
Yeah.
See, I got 1 day, and then I had to take the following week off, which unfortunately was spent mostly in the NICU. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I took less advantage of what was offered to
That's
me, by
right.
the way. I should
you didn't?
say.
Because you wanted to get back in time for football.
Of
For week
course.
zero.
Yeah.
Of course.
You
Take-
wanted week
take,
zero. I get it.
take what you can get.
but you
Yeah.
know,
Last
I hear,
year, maybe a different story, but not this year.
exactly. I hear Josh talk about like, oh well, I got a day. You know, that's pretty
Yeah. Well,
good.
so
I was like, well, I'm sorry.
This whole-
I'm still taking these weeks.
Oh no, take it.
well, when we I should say I didn't produce. I didn't go through birth, but
you
so
helped.
Oh, okay.
I guess I helped produce them.
You heard it here first.
But so I first inquired about what our paternity leave was at my previous employer, and they're like, "Oh, you can actually take up to God, what was it?
A year?
No, but I think it's like 12 weeks. It's like a state.
Will be a year.
It's like it's state law that you can take up to
Yeah,
12
but
weeks.
only so much of that is where
Yeah.
you get paid.
And so I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, like,
Yeah.
hooking me up. So I'm thinking,
12 weeks, no online gambling.
and so I asked, is this all paid?
That's a great question. Good
And they
follow-up.
said, not 1 day of it is paid.
Go ahead and take as
Like-
much time as you want, but you're not getting paid.
So the only thing they
That's
could
awesome.
the only thing they could guarantee is that my job would be waiting for me when I'm done. Well, I would have to take on another job because I would be not making money for that long of a
Tell
period.
that to Wally Pitt.
So yeah, thank God I had some vacation that I had to use. And unfortunately, the guy came 3 days earlier than the 35-week mark because if he shows up on a Monday as opposed to a Friday, we're not a NICU either.
Right. Yeah.
So that was cool.
I
And then when I got back, I had 0 vacation days.
I asked about paternity leave, and
Who you laugh at?
everyone there was at such a different point in their life. They went, "Huh?
What's that?
No one's ever asked that before."
Boy,
We'll get back to you.
yeah,
But have you heard the new Taylor Swift?
this is a damn good question.
Hey, speaking of Wally Pip, did I get Wally pipped?
No.
Oh, you're here.
Okay.
Happy you're back.
I mean, you had Jack, but all of a sudden he went and got COVID.
Jack got COVID.
At the NBA super spreader event.
What?
Not that NBA before people's like, oh, you see that LeBron.
Yeah.
No, yeah, this isn't Rudy Gobert spreading COVID
right.
like he did last time.
Jack wasn't licking any
Jack
microphones.
thought it'd be really funny to start licking all of our mics in here too,
Yeah.
and then so now we're all suspect.
What the hell, Jack?
You got a
Who
month
gets
though,
COVID in 2024?
Well, no, we had a pretty epic end to the crossover, even though he was on StreamYard last week of Road Rules and Saved by the Bell Talk. So that
Yeah.
ended up, or Real World. And
See,
Road
that
Rules
wouldn't
and
have
Saved by
happened while I was
That
here.
was
That's
pretty
right.
It was pretty good. But no, you were missed.
Thank you.
You were missed.
It's
Connor.
good to be missed.
Long live Zach and Kelly.
It's good to be missed.
We got into all of that. It was good.
Speaking of that, we get a text here from Venmo Chris on the text line.
I've been no Chris.
He's back. Hello, Connor. Hope the fam is well. We've missed you. And unlike my father, thank you for actually coming back.
Oh my God. Wow.
You didn't go out
Thank
for
you for laughing, Josh. That would have been really awkward if nobody
Oh
laughed.
my-
you didn't go out for a pack of smoke.
I don't know if I should laugh at that.
over the last 3 weeks.
Well, he's
Give the usher
texting.
20 to watch him for 9
He
innings.
went out for a bottle of bourbon and never came back.
Venmo Chris is texting in the show about it. You would assume that he has a decent attitude about it. Maybe it happened
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
Connor Happer,
It's made peace with it.
Yeah.
model father. That is what we're taking.
So
here.
far, so good. So far, so good. Indeed. Yeah.
Just be careful on stairs. I learned that the hard way.
Me
yeah,
too. in
You
college.
dropped that baby. Didn't you?
I didn't drop him. I went down with him, but
Yeah.
his leg got pinned in between the post at the bottom of the stairs and my leg, hence breaking his leg the
Yeah,
day
it's
of
not
Mike
good.
Schaefer's wedding.
I feel like
And there's good excuses to miss someone's wedding. That was not a good.
at this
Heisman, your
stage,
son.
the baby's like, this baby's like 8 pounds. Like, I'm not dropping that thing.
You know, it's amazing
You know?
though. Those things, man. The bone was completely healed in 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
That's crazy.
Those little things.
Yeah. The baby came out with a weird shaped head. They're
Yeah.
like, don't worry about that. I'm like, okay.
It'll
Yeah, don't worry about that. I'm like, all right.
Hair or no hair?
Turns lots of hair.
Oh, shout out.
Lots of hair.
Wouldn't fit in here.
Much more hair than I.
Very common, but did she have hairy shoulders?
No.
Okay.
No, I would have probably noticed that, right?
Reese was kind of teen wolfish. He had hair. He had like a beard and like hair on his shoulders, and all of a sudden, I swear, within a few days, it was gone.
Yeah,
it's like it's like he shed hair.
Yeah, she's definitely like losing hair. At this, and then
interesting.
Whatever happens,
and the head shape is going back to a normal state.
Yeah, what an experience! It's been it's been a fun.
What'd you miss the most? What'd you miss the most of not being here?
I was trying to think of like news stories that I would have really enjoyed talking about. I didn't come up with anything.
Did you? I feel like you could have.
I was trying to like, okay, here we'll do a segment of like all the things Connor missed, and I was like, what happened over the last 3 weeks? Really, nothing.
Yeah, I didn't really come up with anything. That was nice.
Remember the splicing of the video of Shadur throwing a dime? I feel like you could have had a lot of fun with that.
Oh yeah.
That thing took on a life of its own.
The Olympics happened. Medals were won.
Yes, I watched. I was very engaged in the gold medal game. And I have since been very engaged in the Celtics fan discourse, which is a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
The Celtics fans hate America.
Yeah, well, yeah. They wanted him to lose because Jason Tatum
They have been asked to choose between their Celtics fandom and America, the love of their country. And they have chose...
Steve Kerr hates the Celtics.
They've chose Jason Tatum, of all people. Jason Tatum.
The city of Boston has chose to root for Jason Tatum. And all that implies
Jason Tatum
over America.
Yeah, that's ironic.
There was also a country start there.
There was also another notable thing that happened in Boston.
Party
there.
That
is true in Massachusetts. I mean, we are kind of patriotic, huh? It kind of goes against everything that state stands for.
Then
crap, we are not all patriots.
All that was going on, and then you had Jaron Duran, say some questionable things to a fan behind home.
That's right.
What's going on in Boston?
It was. Remember, Jimmy, when I was trying to think of when there was going to be
he Brenneman'd it.
There was going to be a Castellanos home run. That was it. I kept trying to remember. There was something that happened that day that I was ready to go to the book and say, Castellanos, because I think he played that night when this happened as well. I don't think their game had started. And this sounds like a Castellanos home run moment.
Yeah,
because of what Durant said.
Andy on YouTube says, Kamala? ?
Is that the or on the depth chart with Dylan?
I think that did happen when you were gone, right? When the switch?
I think so.
I think it did.
I don't know.
Did it not?
I don't know.
Has that been more than you've been gone? What, 2 weeks?
I heard she hasn't done any. She hasn't done any
Not
interviews. 12. She doesn't.
Well, not here on the zone. No,
she doesn't do any interviews with anybody. Oh. If we got her, that'd be pretty crazy.
Nick hasn't asked if she's down.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Set
true.
it out feelers.
What's his name showed up in Omaha yesterday, right? Or 2 days ago, or 3 days
Coach,
ago?
yes.
Yeah, Coach Walls.
Coach.
And now I want a Swiss mushroom runza.
Yeah, he was talking about runzas.
That's not politics. I'm just hungry.
The Swiss.
Delicious.
That's a really good move.
Actually, the Swiss mushroom runs is kind of underrated.
Does it appeal?
Not anymore.
Like when he comes in and talks about how his love of runzas and his understanding of runzas, does that appeal to the vote that he's trying to get, the electoral vote he's trying to get of Omaha? Because I'm not sure that
I don't know if it's high on the priority.
I'm not sure that Omaha feels the same,
passion,
but like ownership over Runza.
You know where he would have
the rest of the.
You know where he would have hit a home run in Omaha if he said, "I'm stopping in block 16." People are like, "That's my guy."
That would have been different. Yeah,
that's my guy. But you say Runza, you might appeal to.
I think he's
rural Nebraskan.
I think he mistaked which electoral vote he's trying to get.
You got us already.
Well, he's trying to get the only one that's up for grabs.
That's true.
Well, unfortunately, he appealed to the wrong one.
Yep.
Or the wrong four.
If he stops in a block 16, then it's game on. But I don't think we get as excited here in the metro about Runza as rural Nebraska.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Burger or some frings.
We don't have the same
and the ranch.
We don't have the same ownership over Runza.
I agree.
As the rest of the
it's always there if we need it, but
misfire by Coach Tim Walls.
Bike shorts and knee socks and all.
You think he's pumped for week 0? I bet he is.
Oh yeah.
I bet he is.
That doesn't. I mean, that's just in your blood.
He was. I saw TikTok. I was on TikTok.
I bet you were.
Oh man,
I bet you were.
I got some good stuff from TikTok over the last couple of weeks. But So, do you remember the quarterback Max Brown?
I do, yes.
So he's got a big TikTok now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he loves to talk on the TikTok. He's like drawing up plays and talking about the college football video game and all this stuff. And he did a TikTok, and the idea was like, so I heard that Tim Walz was a football coach and he ran this 4-4 defense. It's pretty good. Let me show you the plays. I'll just absolutely pick this apart. He was like, we're going to RPO him to death. We're going to do all this. And then Tim Walz commented on the video and was like, hey, you're like a legend, man, which he's not. Let's sit down and talk. So maybe there's like a podcast coming with.
Wait, Tim Walz said that Max Brown's a legend?
Yeah.
Then he told him nobody runs a 4-4 anymore. It was a different time, dude.
That's what the comments were saying.
5-2s and 4-4s were ran for a reason back then.
We're talking about the dude who played quarterback at
USC.
Was
he was like
transfer?
I think he was like a 5-star. And then I want to say he played most of his career at USC and then maybe transferred to Pitt afterwards.
All right.
Yeah, not a notable quarterback whatsoever. But he's big on TikTok right now.
Not a Todd Van Raphorst.
Tim Walz said Tate Martell is a legend.
Yeah, he's like, you're a legend, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, all right,
Trip
high praise right there.
McNeely. Trip McNeely.
Yeah. The Olympics. We had some thoughts on handball. I could see maybe getting into some obscure.
I watched exactly one thing. It was the gold medal game in basketball. I'm a absolute
no gold zone.
No gold zone.
No, he hates America.
I do love Scott
So
Hansen.
does Boston, apparently.
I do love Scott Hansen. But no, I am a fair weather Olympics guy.
That's fair.
Which means only when the gold medal basketball game is on.
I'm closer to your style there with the Olympics. My wife is a much bigger fan of the Olympics. She's more gung-ho about it. I'm just like, if there's something of significance.
So, Josh, did people's worst nightmare come true? Did you guys just talk about the Olympics for those first 2 weeks?
Tried to keep it to one segment a day.
One whole segment a day on Olympics?
Yeah, that's right.
What'd you talk about?
The swimming, track.
Oh,
COVID.
The swimming, huh?
Yeah. Remember when? Yes.
COVID, yeah.
COVID.
So what happened in the swimming?
No alive.
They swam.
Nobody drowned.
The Australians thought they had America's number, and then in the
you just know not to poke the bear.
Bottom of the ninth, so to speak,
Kirk Gibson came up.
Yeah, America won more gold medals than Australia.
Shocking.
I mean, we kind of
that Luke Longley.
We own the world.
That Olympic men's team is a little light. Needs to improve
in the swimming.
LA. Yeah.
Where's the next Michael Phelps?
That's right.
Well, there was some good Australian breakdancing.
Ryan Luckty. Yeah, I did see that guy.
That was fun.
Our
now
girl.
it's
That girl. Yeah.
No more breakdancing.
That's right.
Out.
I know.
It's done.
So are they going to?
Did she ruin that?
And there's a whole controversy now with her or something.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was.
That's right.
Do you remember the Jeopardy executive producer that named himself the host?
Oh yeah.
She did the same thing.
She named herself the.
I am in charge of the search committee, and I have found that I am the best possible candidate.
The best candidate is me.
Nobody else clearly wanted to do it, so she was like, "Let me do it." And then she went viral,
and she gave it her best.
She absolutely did.
Like The Simpsons when Martin got 2 votes.
Now she
Bart
did not.
got none.
She did not score very well in that performance. Correct?
No, she got 0 votes.
The best part of it is watching the crowd reaction as she's in the middle of her routine. That's probably the best.
How do you know what to look for? Because I saw that thing. I'm like, oh, she must have won.
That's what I wanted. How do you score that?
I asked that in a lot of Olympic sports.
Yeah, like, is that good?
It was hilarious listening to the breaking commentators.
Oh God, yeah.
And they'd be like, "Oh, okay, great move there. Ooh, a 10th point reduction there." I'm like, how do you know what you're looking at?
Exactly. How do you find an expert on breakdancing? How do you find a John Madden of breakdancing?
Like, I feel like if you're doing breakdancing, it can't be like they can't be the old snooty judges who are like, you have to do this in a very.
That was one of the reasons I got into handball so much. Is the commentators? You would have thought that they've been playing that game since they got out of the womb. Like they were breaking things down left and right. It was amazing. Like
little snooty.
Well, yeah, because they know going into that they know more than probably 90% of the audience. Because unless you are a diehard handball fan, which if you are, you're probably at the Olympics watching. The rest of us, we don't know. We just find it very interesting because
I
I
still
still
see
want
handball in 4 years.
I would like to.
So
I'd like to play it. I think we should get a rec league.
Are we getting baseball at the?
Yes, we are.
Yes,
we are
getting rid of break dancing, bringing back baseball.
Oh, that's official.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I like that trade.
So we're bringing back. Are we going to let the big leaguers play?
That they don't.
That
They have not.
Come on,
signed
Manfred,
one yet.
do the right thing.
Yeah.
They have some facilities in LA that are nice to play baseball. So I'm glad
Yes,
they'll be
they
using
have
that.
many facilities, certainly.
Facility.
Andy on YouTube.
Hi, Andy.
Poll question: are you surprised that Dylon wasn't at Coach Tim's rally slinging runs as an
I'll bet an ask was made.
You know what? Yes.
Keith, just stick with me here.
That's probably the biggest event that Dylan has been absent at that's taken place in the state. I mean, he's at
busy.
everything.
Like he may be at Rob Zombie later this week, but he missed Coach Waltz's deal.
He'll be cold. He'll be cold. He'll be called up on stage to sing "More Human Than Human."
Yeah,
because he is
Not Jenna's part, but the song.
No, yeah, because he is more human than human.
Well, he did the Zach Bryan one,
He did.
which I'm sure he's a huge Zach Bryan fan.
Oh yeah,
And so it doesn't really matter what his allegiance is to anything, or just get the guy to show up.
Alice Cooper will be opening for him, so he can teach him about Milwaukee.
thank you, Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
El Guapan for the good land.
Yeah.
Yes, Pete, it is.
Man. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about whatever we're going to talk about.
So
today.
okay, yeah,
We're back into the weeds.
I'm not trying to
Ted Williams, Nick. I mean,
Nick.
I mean,
Ted Williams.
I heard the screeches all the way from Bennington, from the direction of Bennington yesterday, watching Caleb Williams throw that first one to Odunze, and I thought, oh my God.
See, okay, thank you. Everybody's losing their junk over his touchdown run. It was the throw.
It was the throw.
My man.
He can pass.
and he can pass. I mean, he pretty much.
And he had one of the.
He's Booby Miles.
He had one in the back of the end zone too, where Odunze's foot was on the
Yes.
line.
Yeah,
that was a dart.
See, this is what I'm excited about. Is he's got the accuracy, but he's also he's hooking up his a fellow rookie wide receiver in Roma Dunze, who's adding to a pretty good list. I was telling Jimmy this earlier.
Feels like Super Bowl. It feels like you're kind of. Are you not all in? Or are you?
I'm a duck in water right now.
Oh, come on.
Underneath the surface, them legs are churning. My excitement level's just churning.
Show it up top.
But on surface, I'm just like,
big duck in the river, Indianapolis.
You got to show it up top.
I'm good. My only hesitation, and I was saying this earlier too, Bo Nix looks really, really good. But they are playing against second and third teamers.
Yeah,
that's it.
right.
Preseason football really does suck. I mean, it sucked before, but at least you always have week 3. Like week 3 is the dress rehearsal. Everybody's going to play for at least like a quarter or a half.
Yeah, but like
now you don't have any of that.
I don't know. You should combine what you see with what you know from his college days.
Yes.
And here's what we know about Bo Nix. He's not very consistent. Like he's going to make the flash plays.
77% completion percentage in
better than the guy last year.
Caleb Williams, though, like he kind of checked every box beforehand, and now he's checking boxes in the actual games. Like I've seen enough. I would happily have him on my fantasy.
You ready to go
team.
Rook of the Year?
Whoa.
Now, here's the and I told Jimmy this as well, where I will say, okay, I'm definitely intrigued because I go back to pocket presence I'd laugh because there was no such thing with the 2 previous Bears quarterbacks.
Right, you once had Cade McNown.
Well, yeah, you could go all the way back to that. Justin Fields and Mitchell Trubisky in particular, of what they would do when they would be in said pocket.
Yeah.
And it was pretty comical.
Mm-hmm.
I will at least give Caleb Williams credit that he stays disciplined until it actually does come crashing down on him. And then he uses athleticism to create a new pocket for himself and continues to look downfield as opposed to the pat of the football that Justin Fields would, or the Mitchell Trubisky, God only knows what he will do.
Yeah.
And even to some extent, Jay Cutler, he would live in the pocket, but he'd also throw the wrong team more times than often.
He loved throwing.
So he liked his arm a lot. Yeah. There was no throw in Jay Cutler's mind that he couldn't make.
I always tell people if you
Charles
feel like,
Woodson could tell you that.
If you feel like there is potential for this hope on the horizon, it's dive head first.
Hey, I was saying that about Dylan today. I said, why we got to handle that conversation with kid gloves anymore? Why can't we just go all in and be like,
dive head first in the
shoot
water
for the sky with this kid?
You should, for those of us whose teams won't be doing anything this year. I'm going to live vicariously through you.
I'm excited about Caleb
You're
Williams.
done on the Cowboys already?
I've been done for now. Waiting my new team. Taking applications.
See, some things haven't changed.
Nice.
This is why he sounds more curmudgeon-y now.
I'm cautiously optimistic because I think Caleb Williams has a lot of weapons around him too. I think they put him in a better situation than they put Justin Fields, and even not that I think it would have mattered, but Mitchell Trubisky.
People always ask, come on, can I drink the Kool-Aid? Should I drink the Kool-Aid? The answer is always yes. Always drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
This is
Jonestown teaches.
Once you've had
This
your
is
heart
what August is
stomped on,
for.
what does it hurt if it's being stomped on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times?
Yeah, absolutely.
Be a glutton for
You're
punishment.
not going to get physically hurt from it.
No. And then when you finally do hit, because at some point it will hit.
Yeah.
It feels so good.
Yeah.
It's so great.
I mean, you could be watching your quarterback throw
Behind the back passes. That was totally unnecessary. And if he did that in a regular season game and I'm a Chiefs fan, I would hate my quarterback.
Wow.
That was so.
That was awesome.
Patrick Mahomes, look, now he can throw behind the back too. The no look is not good enough. Now we got to go behind the back.
Okay, I would not be surprised if he did that in a real game.
Same.
And I would hope that it would get picked off.
Seriously, run all the way back.
Exactly. Be
Wait,
like,
you don't want cool plays to be cool?
Yeah, no, I want
An
cool plays
interception
to-
return for a
I
touchdown.
want
Is a
cool
cool
plays
play.
to blow up in his face.
Cool play should count more.
And then
regardless
Bernard
of penalty.
Pollard just goes at his knee.
And the fact that it went to
Wow.
Travis Kelce
So
too
much-
makes it that much more exciting.
So much disrespect. So much disrespect.
So-
Well, his thing afterwards is like, well, I threw it because he ran the wrong route. I got mad.
I remember the bus.
So that was my reaction for anger, throwing a behind the back pass directly to
I'll give him this
his best
though.
pass
If he
catcher.
did traditional shovel pass, that lane was occupied.
Yeah,
True.
he had to do it.
Why couldn't he just stop, let it clear a bit, then shove? No,
Just throw it away to the two.
gotta go behind the back because only Patrick Mahomes can do that.
If you got it in your bag, you got to use it, especially in a preseason game.
Damn it, I miss Damon Heward.
I thought that was cool. I liked it.
I prefer Brock Hughes.
Yeah,
I thought it was so unnecessary.
Didn't Brady Quinn play for the Chiefs?
Yeah, he did.
Brady
miss
Quinn
those
had a
days.
moment.
Yeah,
That was
he
the
did.
era I wish I
I
could
believe
just
he
fade
did.
then.
He did, right? I'm almost positive he did.
Almost for sure. Matt Castle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brady
Yeah.
Quinn.
So let's having the conversation
That's
about
Yes, Brady
my
Quinn was
son
a chef for
is
a
being
year.
influenced by Chiefs fans. And so
Started
now all of a
10
sudden he's a big
years.
Chiefs fan. So I suddenly showed him the throw and then the subsequent run by Caleb Williams. And then I sort of shamed or not kind of guilt tripped my son. I'm like,
Be
but
honest.
you wouldn't be interested in this because that's Caleb Williams and the Bears and you don't like the Bears. They're like, no, I do like the Bears. I'm like, oh yeah, now because Caleb's doing cool stuff.
How bad do you like him?
I sure as hell didn't show him the behind the back pass by Patrick Mahomes because then he would have completely forgot about what Caleb did.
Well, your kid is getting very close to being aware.
Yeah.
I know.
It's very close.
He's
These
impressionable.
These are important times.
Yeah.
He will pick a team based on these next 2 or 3 years.
Well,
Yeah.
all the kids in the neighborhood are big Chiefs fans. One kid looks like Patrick Mahomes
Homeschool.
because he has the haircut.
Oh yeah, they all have the haircut.
Yeah.
Keep him home. Don't let him out. I've seen the virgin suicides. It can be done.
Sometimes
Lock him up at home.
you are a you're a product of your environment.
I'm not forcing him to be a Bears fan, but so now I just like if there's a highlight or something, I hint it towards him or show him, and then I at the end of it I go, but you wouldn't worry about that because you're not a Bears fan. You don't root for this team, and then he's like, no, I do. I'm
Okay,
like,
good guilt trip. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Now he
Yes, it
falls
is.
asleep to those old NFL yearbooks.
Mhm. Yeah, instead of having the ocean noises in the background, I'm going to have like maybe the Super Bowl shuffle, maybe some random Steve McMichael,
Well, George
Quotes.
Hallis, or
Uh-huh.
John Facenda.
Yeah, if you were doing a
Some Dick and
Bears
Buddy Ryan
highlight
stuff.
audio tape, it
Mhm.
probably wouldn't be very much on there. It'd be like 8 minutes long.
Sweetness.
You don't know what it was like in the 80s, man. It was awesome. Going to the playoffs was a given. Just how far they
And
would
losing.
go.
Yeah.
How far would they go? Early 90s, and then it became, and when all of a sudden it was Jimmy's Cowboys. It started.
Those were the days.
Dad, I woke
Not
up and there was a
anymore.
Gorgeous
sweatband on
Apex
my
jacket.
head.
Yeah.
Why does it say
Yeah, why
Roselle?
did it say Roselle?
Who's Roselle?
Oh, let me tell you a story about the punky QB.
Is that Bennington's arch rival?
Why does that quarterback wear sunglasses? Well, he had a fork in his eye when he was younger. True story.
And now he has some other issues that
Yeah.
he needs to wear sunglasses,
Yep.
but he's still with us.
Likes to golf in Arizona. I know that.
We
Who
become
doesn't?
fans for weird reasons.
Yes, we do.
So
Yes, we do.
I wonder what
All stuff you get to do, Connor.
I know.
Brainwash your child.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I saw you having her watch Royals games already.
Yeah. Multiple.
Bedtime stories from Denny Matthews.
Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't that be great if they had like children lullabies by Denny Matthews?
Mhm.
Yes.
That would be pretty neat.
Did you change a diaper over the last 3 weeks and go, oh look, just like George Brett?
I didn't. But
Did she go to the Bellagio and have
It's
the
like
crab
Pine
legs?
Tar. Good pull there.
Yeah. No, I didn't. But that's a good one. That's a good one.
Is this a pine tar rag?
He goes, I'm good for crapping my pants probably about
Once
once a
a
year.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the pine tar.
No,
rag.
no.
Crapping
No.
his pants.
Both look the same too.
They do.
That's pretty good.
All right. Well, you guys enjoy your afternoon.
Yeah, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Daddy's
we
home.
will.
Everything's taken care of now.
Literally, Daddy's home.
That's the crossover powered by Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. We'll start things off next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Monday. It's the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. Josh Hodson, he who is so familiar with being top billing on this show for the last 3 weeks, he forgot how to produce. Josh, press the right buttons.
I moved them while you were
You've been
gone.
waiting for somebody to just hold you accountable for all 3 of these weeks. And guess what? I'm here. I'm back.
Actually, yeah, I do like that little bit of structure.
I
that
got you.
Provide.
I got you. We're back. And we're less than 2 weeks away from this season. I heard your guys' you and Jack's conversation about time traveling, short-term time travel. By the way, there's definitely not enough movies about short-term time travel.
Thank you.
To wake up and, oh my God, it's me 3 weeks from now.
Oh.
I am a lot smarter than I was 3 weeks ago.
Oh.
I know more things about many things than I did 3 weeks ago. Does any of it apply to this job? Not really.
We'll find out.
Not really. There has been some things that have happened with Nebraska football, but as we mentioned in the crossover, I was trying to go through in my head. Okay, here's a list of all the things that I missed or that I would have definitely had to take on. I gotta say, I only probably had that thought in my head, I don't know, like 2 or 3 times, maybe. I was like, man, I wish I had an outlet to just talk about this freely today. But I do, I got my phone. I could just do like a take on my phone or something like that. I'm not gonna be that guy. I got podcasts, and they probably wouldn't let me talk about it on the microphone at the Storm Chasers games or anything like that.
Well, I mean, if you have the mic, what can they do, really?
That's true. That's true. They wouldn't be very happy about it. I like to make people happy.
Sure.
I guess. So that didn't really happen, Josh. I didn't have a lot of that going on. So
is that good or bad?
It's almost like, people often say at whether it's the beginning of fall camp or maybe even some people say at the beginning of the summer, can we just fast forward through the summer and get into the fall? That's basically what I did for the last 3 weeks.
You really did.
And you and everybody else here had to live it all while I was just gone. Fairy dust.
How many wins?
I don't know what I was at before. I was probably trending toward like 8 or 9 before. I think I'm going on. I think I'm thinking right now that 7.5 is just a really tough number.
It is.
That's a very tough number.
Vegas knows what they're doing.
Yeah. And so maybe, and I imagine a lot of Husker fans think this way as well. If I say, well, I have been a sucker for the last 10 years. I have thought,
okay,
you know what?
This is where I'm at right now.
I think I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the over just because they're going to win more than 5. They're going to win more than 6. Like, they're going to go to a bowl game. Come on, this team is this and this and this. Here's all the reasons why. If you've taken the over for the last several years and then your pocketbook is hurt afterwards, your gambling account, whatever. Maybe you're thinking this year, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make them earn it. If I take the under, then they will be more motivated to go over. Definitely. They will be more motivated to win 8 games.
Definitely a real correlation there.
So I'm feeling 7. Give me 7 at this exact moment.
That's where I'm at right now, and almost for that exact reason.
Does any of it make sense?
Nope.
Nah. No. We'll hear a lot from Matt Rule. Matt Rule on today's show. Things that he had to say on Saturday. Might we be getting close to a starting quarterback announcement? Oh boy. That's going to be just so groundbreaking when it happens. The only question is how they do it. Might it be announced in tonight's episode or hinted at in tonight's episode of the Chasing 3 documentary? They like to put little Easter eggs in there.
Oh.
Matt Rule's speech that went viral, and they know nothing gets by Husker fans. Mm-hmm. So, maybe I genuinely don't know, but maybe they've done this behind closed doors already. And they said, all right, team meeting, everybody sit down. Dylan, come up here. And everyone thinks they're going to, suspend him or what'd you do? And then they announce him as the starting quarterback in front of everybody. And there's this huge celebration and pile. Everybody gets out of their seats except for Heinrich Harburg. And he's just sitting there and the camera zooms in on his face. It's like, maybe that scene is depicted in the Chasing 3 documentary, which comes out tonight. Maybe. But how they're going to do it. Or probably more likely, Matt Rule talks on Wednesday and maybe Friday this week and then Monday again. Wednesday,
that's a lot of talking.
Wednesday, he's got the radio show. I think he'll talk again on Friday. And then obviously the Monday, a week from today. We'll have a Monday press conference a week from today.
Hell yeah.
Live here on the show.
We're so back.
you could pretty much guarantee that in one of those 3 times that he speaks, you will hear it officially be said out loud. Young Dylon is our starting quarterback, and he'll say it exactly that way too. We're going to go with Dylon. After much thought and consideration, we're going with Dylon.
What thing in Chasing 3 will we be forced to talk about ad nauseum tomorrow?
I know. You can't miss anything from that thing, man.
What will Matt Rule say that we run wild with for the next week?
I don't know. You think there will be another speech of some sort?
What if he asks them to work harder? Will we go wall to wall with it?
Yeah.
That's what we need to know.
Yeah, we're in this. We're out in the open sea right now, Josh. We're looking for any buoys we can find. We're still in that moment in time. So we'll hear from Matt Rule a bunch today on the show on a variety of different topics. Mike Schaefer will join the show at 11:30. Sam McKewon will join the show at 1. We'll talk about Huskers with both of them. Did you hear? Maybe you didn't. That Nebraska did not get David Sanders Jr., the offensive lineman. He committed to Tennessee.
They said he would.
Ouch. Did they say that?
Yeah, it had been.
Somebody predicted it.
It had been trending that way for a couple of weeks.
Well, you know what? Tennessee's paying their players.
McDonald's bag full of cash.
Unbelievable. We recruit people the right way.
That's right.
Tennessee recruits people just with McDonald's bags full of cash. Who cares if it's legal or not now?
Is it? I have no clue.
It is.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know about McDonald's bags full of cash, but he's definitely getting paid to go there. Don't know if Nebraska would have had to come up with a little bit more in that regard, or if it's just what the program is.
Win games.
Yeah, that probably would help a little bit. So Schaefer, Sam, that's the lineup powered by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Returning Mike Schaefer.
He's been gone. I would at some points receive texts from several of our guests over the last 3 weeks. It's like, hey, I'm not going to be able to do the thing today. And I'm like, well,
neither am I.
Take it up with somebody else. And then I would text Josh and I would say, here, take care of this, Josh. And he would.
Or there'd be a press conference I didn't know about.
Well, you got to know about the press conference, Josh.
There was a Friday where I was hosting and producing. Didn't know there was a press conference.
Yeah, that was 2 Fridays ago.
Sipple was polite enough to answer the phone and tell me he was at a press conference, though.
I wonder if you can go back on tape and listen to him call you on the press conference.
Oh, yeah.
I bet that's out there somewhere. All right. So once again, that's the line of power of the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Love to hear from you guys on the show today. 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor or Josh O at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank inbox. My inbox has been so empty. I've missed you all. Please email me to make me feel wanted and needed, or text or call or tweet. Speaking of a tweet, Jeremiah at Pie Beats Cake writes in.
Hi, Jeremiah.
Good to have you back, Connor. However, Josh was right. Man, they made the Olympics sound more exciting than you're giving credit. Hope you all have a great day. I'm off to Costco in La Vista. Wish me luck. Good luck. Costco in La Vista is a walk in the park.
It's a ghost
Speaking
town.
of pie and cake, that's like pie and cake. That's easy. Ain't nothing going on. Yeah, ain't nothing going on out there. That's easy. Now, where you gonna really put the eye black on? You got to go to the West Maple disaster town out there. I haven't been to the old Dodge Costco since the new West Maple Costco opened up, but I have been in the West Maple one.
I've heard
they're handling it okay.
I've heard some rumblings that it is not lighten the load at Dodge like we thought it would.
Yikes! That's not good. That's not good.
No, that was the whole point, wasn't it?
Yeah, they needed that one a little bit. Yeah, so you can call, text, email, whatever you'd like to do on the show today. Elsewhere, Josh is eagerly awaiting to hear a list of things I watched while I wasn't doing my day job for 3 weeks.
Let's do it.
I am prepared to share that.
We'll do it today.
I am prepared to share that when we come back.
Whoa!
After the break.
Okay.
Let's start things off with a bang. Josh is going to pepper me with questions about things I watched. A few notes, as I said, from Matt Rule. Nebraska fan in Lincoln, man on the street report. These have warranted some great bites over the years. And today, is it's in that same category. Nebraska fan reacts to the stadium going cashless.
Yes.
Yes. Also, I'll have a list of things that I thought of while I was gone. People were asking me during the 3 weeks, when are the Chunkies? Now, you didn't do the Chunkies, right?
No, would never do the Chunkies without you.
Okay. People would be like, what's the Chunkies?
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, well, you can't do the Chunkies. You're not prepared to do the Chunkies. Why don't we do the Chunkies this week? Why don't we do it either like tomorrow or Thursday or something?
Sounds great.
Depending on how much time I have to kind of put it together. I have worked up a couple spreadsheets during my time off.
Oh.
So those will be helpful. We will play a little game of choose your office man cave designer, interior designer, between two college football coaches.
That's right.
Today during the show. And we'll talk about Colt McCoy and various other things during today's program. Come back. The boys are back in town. Thanks for joining us today. We will return with more of the Connor Happer Show next on 1620 The Zone.
He gives you the latest sports news, analysis, and commentary in a clean, concise, and disease-free way.
See there?
What a relief. Thank God.
Wonderful.
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Another thing that happened while I was gone, the Royals stayed in the playoff race.
I think they did a little more than that.
Yeah, they
right?
had. There was a little bump in the road with that 3-gamer in Minneapolis last week. That was a little painful. That had me in my feels a little bit. But things are looking up. The Royals will host the Angels for 3 this week, and then go to Philly, I believe, this weekend, which that could be fun.
Oh yeah, you can do me a solid out there.
Meanwhile, the Guardians and the Yankees will lock heads this week.
Oh, hello.
And the Twins will play the very resurgent San Diego Padres.
Best record since the break
this week. So there might be some movement, and then there's 6 important games with Cleveland and Minnesota the following week. So I don't know. Look, Josh, what does Matt Rule say? He says, "Hey, look, I want to be relevant this year." What does relevant mean? I want to be in the thing when it matters. I want to be in the thing in November. I want to be in the race for winning a conference title. It's August 19th. And the Royals are very much they occupy a playoff spot right now. So I'm not
3 games out of first in the division, second best run differential in the American League.
Yeah, people always do the run differential thing. Just give me a break. I don't care about the run differential thing.
You're beating the crap out of teams.
Yeah, all the people who cover the Royals are like, well, they're the second best run differential in the what? It's like, who cares?
Means your offense is good. Means your pitching's good.
Yeah.
Or you played the White Sox 12 times.
Exactly. People do. They beat the Reds 13-1. So what? You know, It doesn't do anything for me. Whatever. Win games. And so they're in it. It's August 19th. They're in it. They're going to be in it all the way to the end. I'm only going to be mildly disappointed if they fall off and don't make the playoffs. But this season has been a wild success. Wild success.
For the next 8 weeks, we get Connor Happer rooting against the Boston Red Sox who are chasing him.
Oh, yes, we do.
Hell yeah.
And that is a good spot for me to be in,
That's
Josh.
right.
I like that spot because I do it anyway.
Right.
And I root for the Royals anyway. But yes, so if people are new here, they're like, why is this guy talking about the Royals so much? It's like, well, I get used to it. They're in the playoff hunt. Sorry. We're going to mix in a Royals segment during football season. It's going to happen.
Get ready to speak Royals, baby.
Movies I watched during paternity leave is a note in my phone. Josh?
Oh, I'm so nervous.
So this began, so just for full context here, I had the first starting July 29th, I think it was, right? That was my first day gone. 28th, 29th, the Monday of that week.
Correct.
The kid didn't show up until Thursday night. All right.
Uh-huh.
So most of these are happening before that.
Before baby got here.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, what are we supposed to do? I'm just going to sit here. Not going to do anything.
Did you have power?
Yeah, that was an experience. So okay, one more thing on this. So my wife was said to be induced into labor, and they told us they basically gave us a time frame. Somebody was coming out to my house to check out my washing machine or dishwasher or something like that. It's like, yeah, you could show up at the hospital between 7 and 9 p.m. was the initial time they gave us. Cool. Storm hits that very night, and 9 o'clock rolls around. We're like, hey, so we called. We're like, hey, did you forget about us? And they were like, oh no, we did not forget about you. Just sit back, relax,
shelter in place,
go to sleep, and we'll call you. Just keep your phone on ring because we're going to call you in the probably middle of the night. And sure enough, 3 o'clock in the morning rolls around, and they're like, you can come to the hospital now. We're like, great. So we showed up at
3 a.m.
Yep, we showed up at 4,
Oh,
and
wow.
the kid came the next night. And they did lose power at the hospital, or they didn't. They lost regular power at the hospital. They had to do the generator thing.
Sure.
Yeah. I think that pushed things back a little bit. Anyway, the people at the Methodist Women's Hospital were absolutely fantastic. If I didn't say that enough already. Okay, so this really started that week when I was bored and not working. Really not working at that point before I started to get back into it a little bit the next week. So, Josh, what do you think I went to? If I told you that there was some Connor Happer classics on here, and gave you like 5 slots, where would you go? I'll tell you this: don't use a guess on Dumb and Dumber. I didn't watch Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, okay.
I didn't watch Dumb and Dumber.
That was gonna be my guess.
Yeah, I figured it would have been.
The other guys.
No, but a good guess. No, but a good guess. Most of these movies aren't funny.
Oh,
so if yeah,
The Town.
Absolutely. And The Town, I only watched The Town because the only time that anybody ever wants to watch The Town is after they watch The Departed.
Okay. So you watched The Departed?
So I watched The Departed. That was the first one.
What do you think that rat at the end of the movie means?
Everyone's a rat.
Could be anything.
Could be anything. Everyone was a rat. That movie is incredible, by the way.
It is.
And that movie is so much better than The Town. I love The Town because of the little, bursts of fun that it has throughout the movie and the language and, the Affleck of it all. But yeah, I mean, The Departed is like so much better than The Town. So I watched both of those movies.
You just love Boston.
I like Boston. I like watching people try to act Boston accents. It's really fun. There was another time where I had to watch somebody try to do a Boston accent for a movie. This movie is not set in Boston. Captain Phillips.
Oh.
Tom Hanks does kind of this Northeast New England kind of accent. He's the captain of a ship.
For a time.
And then he is removed as that captain. And
famously.
That was a suspenseful, almost 3 hours. I mean, that's a pretty long movie. That's a suspenseful time.
You had seen that before, right?
I have seen Captain Phillips. Speaking of Hanks, Josh.
Terminal?
Absolutely. You knew it was going to be on the list. In fact, I think I had to pay like $2.99 to rent this.
You paid money to watch The Terminal.
Yeah, I just really, really wanted to watch The Terminal.
Okay.
And I wanted to watch another Hanks movie. And so, yes, we paid money to watch The Terminal. I think that was the night that we ended up going to the hospital. A new movie that I had not seen before.
Oh, here we go.
I watched Glass Onion, Knives Out.
Oh, okay.
It was fine.
Yeah.
I like the first one better.
Oh, absolutely.
And I was talking to Peterman about this at a Storm Chasers game one night. So apparently there is a third one.
That's right. Just wrapped filming over the weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
With Benoit Blanc. Is he in it again?
Yes.
What's his name? Bond.
Daniel Craig.
Yeah. That's right. Glass Onion, Knives Out. Pretty good. Not bad. If I was going on Josh's scale, 5 stars, like 2.5, 3.
Started strong, kind of fizzled out towards the end.
Yeah, I didn't love it. I hopped on YouTube and I watched the entire 9th inning of Game 7 of the 2014 World Series because I saw something about Madison Bumgarner. Madison Bumgarner was getting honored or something like that, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to put myself through this. So I watched it just to see if the Royals actually had a chance to win that game. And they did. They had some really bad at-bats. Bumgarner was obviously really good, but they had some really bad at-bats in the 9th inning of Game 7 of the World Series. And then you had Gordon's hit. And Jersh, they left town, obviously. Jersh, if you're listening, you made the right call. Don't need to send him on that.
I think you're probably right.
People keep saying that. I am definitely right. He's getting thrown out in the World Series. We just don't need to end that way. I watched American Psycho. I love American Psycho.
Oh, I have some videotapes to return.
I have some videotapes to return. Huey Lewis in the news. That's a great movie. So well acted. Christian Bale is incredible. A little gory to watch.
Sure.
Like in the hospital, I think.
Okay.
But I don't. Whatever. They don't.
No.
They're not taking it personal.
No. I believe in the first 48 hours of my child's life, I held him in my arms and we watched Top Gun on cable.
Nice.
In the hotel, in the delivery room or whatever.
See that you remember these things. Mm-hmm. So American Psycho was maybe the one for us.
And then in the first 6 months, we watched The Godfather. So my child had seen The Godfather before you, Connor.
Yeah. I mean, many people, including your child. One movie for her, 10 Things I Hate About You. It's her favorite movie. And
Oh,
it's
great movie.
It's just a great movie. Yeah, it's a great movie. So we watched that one. Denzel Washington's Flight.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a great one.
It's a good one.
I mean, it's a horrible, horrible movie.
Uh-huh.
Whenever you ask the question, how good of an actor is Denzel Washington? I'm going to give you that movie because that movie sucks ass. That movie is horrible, and it does not work at all without Denzel Washington.
That's right.
But with Denzel Washington, it's a banger. It works. It's so good.
Believe he got an Oscar nomination.
Did he really? He should have. He should have. That's good. And then recently, I stumbled into Baby Driver.
Oh, yeah, Baby Driver. Fun movie.
I don't know. It was fine.
I have not watched. Now, let me take a step back here. I have not watched it since we learned things about Kevin Spacey. So I'd like to throw that grain of salt over the top of what I just said.
It almost felt like a parody of like kind of a heist movie where Kevin Spacey is kind of he's kind of the boss and they have these crews and everything like that. Weird. It was weird. And then you had what's the kid's name? Hansel.
Yeah.
He's
Al Gort.
Yeah, he's listening to music so the whole deal is that he has tinnitus, or
yeah,
he has some sort of hearing impairment where he has to listen to music all the time. And then John Hamm shows up and then he shoots he doesn't shoot his ears off. He shoots a gun at the sides of his ears. He's like, I'm going to take the one thing away from you that I know you love the most. And blew his ears out. Tough. I mean, great move. Didn't shoot him.
Right.
It's just shot next to him.
A lot of people probably would.
There's a hot
shot
lady.
In the head. Yeah.
There's a lot of other things going on in that movie. There's Jamie Foxx. He's a rampant murderer. I mean, he loves murdering people. And so that's my review of Baby Driver, which I saw for the first time. I think it was like yesterday.
Oh, okay.
That's my list.
Wow, what a great list.
You seem underwhelmed.
A lot of twists and turns. A lot of things you had already seen before.
100%. I was trending, Josh. I was trending toward a lot of movies. And then it just really, really fell off in the last couple of weeks here, obviously.
Mustache Adam says, I'm so glad to hear that in the spirit of bringing something new into the world, Happ spent a majority of his time rewatching movies he's already seen.
I saw a couple new ones, Mustache Adam. I never seen Baby Driver.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd ever watched the full 9th inning of the Game 7 of the 2014 World Series. I had never seen Glass Onion. Okay?
That's enough for Connor.
But most of those movies, I had seen not just one, like those many, many times. Almost all of them. Many, many times. I don't think there's a person on earth who's seen The Terminal more times than me. I may be the person in the world who has seen The Terminal the most. Do you think that's the case?
I would love to sit here and say, no, Connor, that's impossible. Certainly someone has watched The Terminal more than you.
I'd like to put that in a poll question.
I can't.
Somehow put that in a poll question. Do you think Connor Happer has seen The Terminal the most times out of anyone in the world? Yes or no? And the answer is indeed yes. LSU Rob writes in,
hi, Rob.
Did Happ get around to watching Predator? No. He
never
did not. Why would I take the time and watch Predator?
There's a new Alien movie out. It'd be a great time for you to watch Predator, or as at some point in time, the two franchises do cross over.
Alien versus Predator?
That's right. We did that twice for some reason.
I don't have any interest in any of it. That's why. I have interest in Tom Hanks, Denzel Washington, planes, modes of transportation, and Boston accents. That's it. That's all I got.
I watched RoboCop over the weekend.
People go back to their hits.
I watched Twisters.
These are Josh movies.
There were no dinosaurs. A little disappointed that there were no dinosaurs.
These are Josh movies, though.
That's right.
Absolutely. So yes, it's very on brand. We're staying on brand during the period of time in which I was gone. TC writes in, Flight, I'm drunk right now. That was the best line in the whole movie. He goes to the hearing or the trial or whatever. He's like, did you drink that? And he spends the whole, first 20 minutes in the hearing saying, no, I don't have a drinking problem or anything like that. And then he finally comes to and he's like, "Yep, I'm drunk right now."
Drunk right now.
Drunk. And the whole crowd goes, "Whoa!" And he goes to jail, but he is, he's washed himself in the baptizing waters of truth.
But he had that lady from Yellowstone at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I didn't really get why she was there. She didn't really need to be there at all. In fact, I don't like that. I don't like her. I don't like things that she's in.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah. Okay. I'm one of them. Poll question up at Happer Show. Has Connor Happer seen The Terminal the most times out of anyone in the world? Please vote.
It's important.
Please vote at Happer Show on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Zach emails into the show in the Equitable Bank inbox.
Hi, Zach.
Another Boston movie, The Boondock Saints.
That is a Boston movie, yes.
I haven't seen it though. So, and then I
feel you're past the point in your life where The Boondock Saints is cool.
What's it about? Motorcycles?
The Irish revenge.
Irish revenge. Interesting. Is that different than regular revenge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a poll question.
Is Irish revenge different than regular revenge? Please put that up at Happer Show. Okay. Coming back. So I got an email here about the cashless stadium. I don't think people are actually mad about this, but I enjoy the 8 people who are.
Right. There's 8 specifically very old people that are very mad about this.
We are going to introduce you to one of them when we return. We'll hear from Matt Rule during the show. Schaefer will join us at the bottom of the hour. All to come on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. But first, a message from our friends at the FanDuel Sportsbook. You're going to want to listen up for this. So you've heard us talk about FanDuel, which is still America's number one sportsbook. So here's something extra. Let's sweeten the pot a little bit for you guys. Right now, through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. I will repeat this because it bears repeating. All FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. And then with your YouTube TV base plan, if you have it like I do, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon at a market game. You want to flip around, you're a channel flipper just like me, go ahead and do that. And you can do it all for free for 3 weeks with the FanDuel Sportsbook. All you need is a current form of payment and a Google account, and you can cancel any time. Head to FanDuel.com/Happer. Download America's number one sportsbook. Get it on this offer right now, and it's a good one. So FanDuel's got you hooked up this football season. And always, FanDuel.com/Happer. 21 and over, President Iowa. Full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will automatically be charged seasonally after the free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem, call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
He does it the only way he knows how. With his massive sports brain sprinkled with a smidgen of rabble-rousing. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Smidgen of rabble-rousing.
More than a smidgen.
I like the new image there, Josh. That's nice.
A little bit of higher production value.
That's nice.
Hopefully I can play the videos when it's time to play the videos. I'm terrified.
Oh, we'll do that. Oh, I can't wait. A reminder that fall is right around the corner, and 1620 The Zone is giving you the chance to win season passes to Nebraska's favorite fall attraction, Vallis Pumpkin Patch.
You love food, love fall, love fun. You love Vallis Pumpkin Patch best of all?
The best of all.
I think I butchered that, but
you love food, love fun, love fall. You love Vallis Pumpkin Patch
best of all.
2 2024 season passes to Vallis and enjoy the food, fun, fall, family, all the things. The giant turkey legs that Vallis has to offer. Enter to win right now, please. 1620thezone.com. And that is a I think it's still growing in popularity, but you're going to want to get on that deal. So, Josh, you got your rings delivered to you? Is this correct?
I did.
While I was gone?
There was a ceremony while you were away.
Jeez.
Glad
I wasn't there for that.
Now the proud owner of 4 title rings.
Did you get some new gear too?
Yeah, this is a swimming shirt hoodie thing.
A swimming shirt?
Iowa Western debuts a new team on campus this fall, swimming and diving. Wanted to support the new team. So
good for you. It's nice. I like it.
Thank you.
I like it.
Yeah, so I now have twice as many championship rings as Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers combined.
Look at that. Nice job. You could throw a lot of people. You got rings now.
I got 4.
You throw a lot of people on that list. I mean, there was a lot of great players that never won jack.
I'm the Tom Brady of 1620 The Zone.
By far.
I got a whole hand of rings.
Yeah, nobody else has anything else. Everybody else is
a bunch of losers.
Just a bunch of losers. We don't even have what Aaron Rodgers has.
That's right.
It's crazy. Let me introduce you to a fan of the Huskers. This is Linda Mueller.
Hi, Linda.
Linda was walking around Memorial Stadium at the right time. And when was the right time? When the news was announced that Nebraska was going cashless this year at their athletic facilities. So, Channel 8 in Lincoln decided to put a man on the street. And that man was a woman, Courtney Scornia. She was out there in front of Memorial Stadium hawking anybody down. She said, "Would you like to talk about Memorial Stadium going cashless?" And Linda said, "Absolutely, I'd love to talk about this."
Are you mad about this? I'd like to talk to you.
Huskers Athletics says on its website that the improved Wi-Fi at the stadium will make cashless concessions the most efficient option for fans. But Linda begs to differ. Quote, "When has this money never been accepted?" Mueller has been a season ticket holder for more than 32 years. She said her husband and son went to a scrimmage 2 weeks ago and were shocked to hear the stadium wouldn't accept their $20 bill. Imagine that, Josh. A world where you would give them money and they say no. Mueller says, quote, "I just can't believe we're going to this extent in America." End quote. She said her family was not notified of the cashless concessions beforehand. Quote, "I'm worried," and she's worried about other people as well. "I'm worried about the people who aren't going to know this coming into the stadium." She said she can't imagine going to a game with just her card. Quote, "I don't normally take my card, but I guess I'll have to start if I want to go to the games," she said, definitely sarcastically. She's worried about the hawkers going up and down the stands and how they won't make as much money as they did before if fans can't use cash. Mueller said if everyone is using a card, quote, "it's going to slow down the process." One Memorial Stadium hawker said the card readers they use are not the most reliable. He said his failed a few times during the spring game. A student at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln said he's always used cash at games. Quote,
a student,
yes. I'd never met a kid between 18 and 22 who's ever seen a dollar bill.
That's right.
Quote, "It would definitely blow to have to take a card and all that stuff," he said.
Fake news.
Once again, I'd like to repeat the quote from the college kid. Quote, it would definitely blow to have to take a card in all that stuff, he said.
That kid is either very committed to the bit or from the bleeping sticks.
It sounds like kind of a pothead, actually. Yeah, I'd kind of blow to have to take a card and all that stuff, but I guess I'll do it. Just to wrap up the story here, Channel 8 reached out to the university for comment, but it turned out that they had already commented via a long press release that everybody got.
This was in the news, like before the open practice. That
Husker Athletics said all venues will move to cashless concessions, merchandise, ticket sales starting this fall. A comment from Dave on YouTube.
Hi, Dave.
Why does every stinking change need to be another battle in the culture war? Why does anything that ever happens need to be a battle in the culture war? I think is another question that we can apply to this question. How does anything change ever? Is maybe a question that we could ask. And the answer, Josh, as the great Joe Dirt said, it just does. Or who gave him that advice? Was it one of his friends? Was it the fireworks guy?
Yeah.
It just does. It just does. And guess what? You're going to have to adapt. I don't think people are actually mad about this, but I'm glad that KLK and Lincoln found the one person, happened to be outside the stadium walking around,
now
who had a comment on this.
I don't want to take everyone too far behind the curtain, but I guarantee the fine folks at Channel 8 were only asking a certain segment of the population about this story.
I can't imagine that there was a lot of people for her man on the street report that were available for comment on this quite like there's not I don't know if you've ever been in Memorial Stadium when there's not a football game going on. There ain't nothing happening around there, especially during the summer when the kids are out of school. There's nothing going on. There's nobody there.
I went to Morrill Hall this summer. There was nobody there.
So I question how they found this woman with a Nebraska shirt who was so fired up about this. Was she a plant?
Oh.
Was she a plant?
Wow.
It's a question that we could ask. So we got a couple emails here. Here's Matt on the Equitable Bank inbox. So generally, I think it's probably a good idea the concession stands run faster as long as I know beforehand I am okay with it. Just went to the Iowa State Fair and got cash so I could tell my kids we only have this much money, so they didn't ask for everything. There is unlimited money on that card, theoretically. The last time I went to Kinnick Stadium a couple of years ago, the concession stands payment machines went out, so I ran to an ATM real quick and got cash so we could get hot dogs. I will say that I do appreciate, like, I'm an old school guy. I appreciate the ability to pay with cash. I'm probably as opinionated on this as you can get. With that being said, I don't care. Right? Like, if you look at me, Josh, and you have a history of all my takes, you'd be like, yeah, that I carry cash in my wallet. I have cash in my wallet right now. I like having cash on me. I don't know why. It is nice to kind of have a limit, and you could more easily track how much money you've spent and things like this. But as far as the ease of it, Memorial Stadium has unveiled its, now we'll see next Saturday when this is all rolled out, but new Wi-Fi, better Wi-Fi apparently is supposed to be a thing. So this should theoretically help. Also, for as much as we talk about concessions and amenities at Memorial Stadium, because Josh, we talk about it a lot.
We do. Sell beer.
I actually think that most people don't really, like, you just go to the football game and you watch a football game, you know? If you decide you have to get your Valentino's pizza before the game because it's tradition, like, you're still going to be able to do that. And you're going to be able to do that in the same amount of time that you were going to be able to do that before. It's going to be okay. But I think there's a lot of people who this conversation actually doesn't mean anything to because they don't use the concession stands at Memorial Stadium. It is a football game. There is 80,000 people there. It is always going to be difficult to be able to serve all of those people. And so the right answer for some people at those games is just to not deal with it at all. And guess what? You're still going to be able to not deal with it. Just don't spend any of the money, whether it's on the card or on the cash.
And if you've been to any sporting event over the last 5 years, you've probably noticed that they are also cashless societies.
Yes. Also, there's a lot of people who would take this same proposition and flip it the other way, and they would say, you know what? It's a real pain in the butt for me to have to take out cash before all these games to pay all the hawkers and things like that. I'd rather, do you have a card reader or something like that? For as many people as there are saying, I think it's a disgrace to this country because we can't pay with cash anymore, there's about triple that amount who use it the other way. Wow, it's a real pain in the butt to get cash. Thank you. Here's my card. What? I could just flash it in front of a screen and it pays money?
Do you have a Venmo QR code?
This is amazing. It works. Johnny mails in.
Hi, John.
I agree that people should be able to use cash at the stadium. They should also accept personal checks. Seems like it would make it easier for everybody.
Now I'm going to put in the memo line UTEP so you know when I was here. Just in case.
I'm going to write it on a checkbook on the side so I could balance this out later.
Maybe I shouldn't use abbreviations. I'm going to go University of Texas, El Paso.
Yeah, and write it in cursive too. The amazing Daniel writes in.
Hello, amazing Daniel.
He linked to a tweet that he had before that says, a friend of mine sold something on Facebook Marketplace, and the 20-something who came to pick it up said, what's your Venmo? You said cash only, right? The first thought is that kid is an idiot, but looking at the real definition, I'm not sure which one is actually out of touch. Is it possible that kids think Venmo is cash? Also, maybe we need to have a real conversation in this space, Josh. What is cash? I've always thought cash was the literal paper the president's faces.
That's where my mind goes, word association.
Maybe cash is Venmo. Maybe cash is card. I have no idea. Maybe we need to change. Maybe cash has changed its pronouns. No idea. No idea what's going on. I think cash is cash, but I'm not sure. Once again, I've been accused of being out of touch before. So
now we came from a cash society, so we would know cash.
I know. Oh man, I was talking about with one of the doctors that we've seen over the past several weeks.
Of which there are many.
Yeah, of which there are many. She was talking about all the things that her kids were like asking her because she has some 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old kids, and then even older. It's hard to understand that they have never lived in the same world that we did. There's no you have the internet on your phone all the time. You're connected to everyone all the time. So you used to have to print out maps.
We did that.
What would happen when you would go to pick up somebody at the airport and their flight got delayed? Well, you just get to the airport and find out their flight got delayed. There used to be these big boards.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I loved walking into the airport, looking at the board, like, okay, let's look at the big board.
Yeah.
Who's in, who's out.
It's the whole premise for a Seinfeld episode. They go to the wrong airport.
That's right.
They go to the other airport and all these, half of the Seinfeld episodes actually don't even exist if cell phones exist.
That's right.
So hard to understand any of this. But I don't know. Who's out of touch? Who's responsible for saying who's in touch? I have no idea. But I'm going to go with the flow guy, Josh. If you're telling me it's a cashless place, I'm prepared. If you're telling me it's a cash-only place, I'm probably prepared. Although that is more difficult. Because I don't need cash in as many places.
Yeah.
Chris writes in.
Hi, Chris.
I love the cashless idea at the stadium. Only concern is the vendors walking around the stadiums with the runs-ins and the pizzas. Are those card-only as well? Cash is way easier in that scenario. No, Chris, hold on. Before we get to Schaefer here. Let me just ask you, are we sure that's true? Are we sure that cash is easier for the hawkers? Because think about it.
They've thought of this already, everybody.
The hawker has to carry around that weird bag of cash.
Wet cash, because it's 90 degrees the first few games.
And then there's a guy in the stands who's like, hey, I only got 100. Can you change 100? He's like,
break it?
Sure, but I only have 5s and 1s here. And then they take all the 5s and 1s, and then you don't have any bills left. So you're going to be at the mercy of whatever bills the hawker has to get your change. And now sometimes you might say to the hawker, well, I'll just keep the rest. It's a tip, whatever. But that's uncomfortable.
And who's the first segment of the population to tell you, well, nobody knows how to make change anymore. Nobody knows how to count cash back. The same ones that want to use the cash.
Yeah. So I actually think, like, if you maybe you have to pass your card down the row, just as if you felt uncomfortable passing your cash down the row because you thought somebody was going to take it, which, by the way, it's not going to happen, especially at a Nebraska game. Nebraska nice.
There's no getaway plan for taking someone's.
Nobody's taking your card. Nobody's taking your phone. Like, it's actually probably easier for the hawker to do the tap on their little thing on the card and then just send the card back down the row with the runza.
Why don't you get your lazy butt up and go get one yourself?
So I don't know. I actually think it's probably easier in all ways, but that's just mine. The phones are ringing off the hook right now, by the way. From the 402, are they going to accept Bitcoin at Memorial Stadium?
Gee, I wonder if the person calling into the show is for or against a cashless Memorial Stadium.
There are some people that are fired up about this, Josh. From the 402, got in my car late, and my God, this person sounds like a child. He's talking about the person who was interviewed on the street, I think. It's 2024. Grow up and carry your damn card. They're free with a checking account. Takes less time to run your car than to drive to and access an ATM before every game. You're damn right, Texter. So grow up is our message to people today. Zach writes in again on email. Nebraska fans should be excited about cashless Memorial Stadium. Memorial Stadium will eventually serve alcohol, and in Ireland, when the card machines went down, everyone got free beer. Fingers crossed for free beer. Yes, that can be a positive aspect of this sometimes. Wow, our phones are absolutely jacked right. Okay, hang on. Schaefer will join us in just a second. We're going to call him a couple minutes late. I feel like we have to get to these phone calls. I want to hear the people on this. Are we actually mad about this? I didn't actually expect to spend 20 minutes on this topic today. Here's Dave on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Hi, Dave. Welcome to the show.
Oh, hi. I'm a season ticket holder since 1976 and been going to the games. And I have a couple of kids and that are hawkers at the stadium selling water and hot chocolate, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they just attended the meeting 2 weeks ago on this, and they're not happy at all. And the reason being is, how many people, they hustle. They go up into the stands and hustle and go up and down the aisles. How many of you guys are willing to pass your credit card all the way through your rows? Somebody's going to be looking at it. They can get the security code off the back. And my kids aren't going to be making any tips either because, somebody spends, $8 and they say, we'll go ahead and give keep the change. How are they going to do that on a credit card? And then my kid has to have the little device. And it's just, they aren't happy about it at all. None of the vendors were. So it's just old people that are pissed about this. The vendors hate it because they're going to make a lot less money.
I just have one follow-up for you. So, I just explained, I think that I would be equally as likely to pass my card down the row as I would be my cash. Do you think that applies to anybody else? Because that's the way I feel about it.
I don't think so. I don't think so because your credit card has a lot of opportunity for losing. Lots of money that you have available on the credit line. Whereas if you pass down $10, all you're going to lose is $10. And I've done the cash thing hundreds of times. I've never had anybody steal my money ever. But I think the society we're living in today, people don't want to give up their credit card information, or pass one down that's going to go through, all these strangers' hands. So you might not, but I think most people would rather pass down cash than a credit card.
Okay, Dave, thanks for the call. I appreciate that perspective. The hawkers are out.
I would agree.
Do you think the hawkers will get less tips? Because when I see that 20, 30, 40% come up, I'm like, yeah, it's a $5 thing. 50%. I don't care.
I would understand that the hawkers are probably, upset about this, but also it's probably being done to eventually phase them out entirely.
Yeah. Soon enough, there's going to be
saves costs, which we're all trying to do now.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's something we need to be prepared for. The hawkers are kind of going away a little bit. Very sad. A tradition. Maybe that's the start. This is the start of this.
Yeah. But now I don't think that's good.
Get ready for
the record. We
like when kids have jobs.
Yeah.
Work, kids. Earn it. Like the hustle. Okay, maybe there's something to that. Maybe we can have a more serious conversation about this. But not now.
Good comment from Royce as we go to break here on
the
YouTube chat. This is silly. Was at Farmers Market in Exarban this weekend. All of the vendors take cards and or Venmo. It's not that hard.
Now Dave made a point about like if you were a person who was going to steal the thing that was getting passed through you, you have a lot more money on the card than you do with the $5 of cash that you're sending down the row.
Absolutely. But what is your exit strategy?
Right, you're not going anywhere. All right, Schaefer's up next on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Come the Guardians.
Yeah, I have statistics to back up that we have people that listen.
Mike Schaefer.
Anytime there's sort of a debate as to who can do something, Happer would always put his name forth, for sure.
Husker 24/7 on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
I could be a star.
All right, welcome back. I think I was on there the first time. We are joined now on the 42 Degrees The Source hotline by our dear friend Mike Schaefer. That's better, Josh. Of Husker 247. Schaefer, good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good morning back to you. Welcome back, Connor Happer. And let me just say, I'm sure the good folks at 1620 are working on selling this segment They could call it football and dad stuff.
Yeah.
Tell it to somebody.
Yeah, we could.
It's an easy marketing opportunity. Make a little money. Maybe you get an endorsement out of it. Seems like a great idea.
So one of the things that apparently happens when you become parents is that you like to welcome other people into the world of parenthood, and you become really good at it. So what we received in the mail from the Schaefers was a bib that said, "Apparently I like baseball," and we just put that over our kid and some stain remover, and I think there was like a onesie as well. Schaefer, it was greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I was blown away by the generosity of so many people in my life that it became very, very easy to give stuff for the multiple of people that have become parents since I have too. So that's the other thing that's amazing. You spend 30 plus years not being a parent, and then you instantly realize how many babies are born all the time and all the people that you know that are having babies. So it's incredible. But yeah, hopefully your 3 weeks were good.
Magical.
And now you're back and ready to tackle all things Nebraska football and whatever else.
Yeah, I just spent 20 minutes talking about how the Hawkers at Memorial Stadium are going to be basically either really sad or obsolete now that they're going cashless at Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, this is like one of those things that's going to sneak up on people in so many ways. Like I saw there was like the news story where the person talking about how they never carry their cards and they only have cash, and
hilarious.
Like, this is going to surprise people. And like, first of all, I don't understand that because I am the opposite. I never have cash. Like, cash is just not something that I think about or have. It's just all plastic for me. But I do know from just the other venues doing this, like, there are so many people that are just going to be shocked at this UTEP game that they cannot get their Runza,
I know,
or their Red Dog, or their Valentinos, or their Pepsi, because they just don't have the right currency anymore, because it's no longer America.
That was what that one lady said outside of Memorial Stadium in Lincoln.
It's not good here anymore.
I don't know how they found her. First of all, I don't know where they got her. I was concerned.
Straight out of Central Casting, right?
Yeah, I thought she was a plant. I'm like, I don't know where you found this lady, but she's wearing a Nebraska shirt, and she said that a stadium being cashless is un-American, and I thought, wow, that's a little on the nose for me.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good. It was pretty good, but yeah, I think people are going to struggle with that. That was when that got announced. That was my initial reaction. Is like, they need to do a whistle stop tour just for this. Just make Troy Dan go to every community in Nebraska and be like, look, I'm sorry. You might be able to pay for cash for this coffee right now. You can't do it at Memorial Stadium anymore. And then field questions about it.
Schaefer, a couple anniversaries today. First of all, 3 years ago today, you and I were doing a show together.
Oh, man.
And we had a poll question.
Different times those were.
We had a poll question. That legacy is carried on, but this one might be the best. Both in their prime, who would win this fight, Michael Keaton or John Bon Jovi?
This is one of your worst takes ever. It's Michael Keaton, and it's not close.
You guys just think because he played Batman, now he's got all this like martial arts. It's like, no, Michael Keaton is soft. He's soft. Did you see him in the other guys? He's just quoting TLC the whole movie. Bon Jovi has seen it. He's experienced it. And he knows, like, what else is he doing while he's out on the road 24/7? He's getting after it in the weight room.
Wasn't Michael Keaton just in some like action movie a couple years ago that was straight to prime that nobody but me watched? I'm pretty sure that he can. I'm pretty sure that even not prime Michael Keaton could still take prime Bon Jovi.
Yeah. By the way, the results of that poll question are now final, and they're cemented in history. 74% of the voters said Michael Keaton.
Yeah, and that's when you came up with the line that Lincoln has an enhanced sense of Keaton.
It does. I think Omaha has an enhanced sense of Keaton. I think everyone has an enhanced sense of Keaton. Yes.
I think as good as that bit was, the Jeff Franklin thing is still maybe my favorite hour of radio we've ever done. So whenever that anniversary comes up and you want to talk about Jeff Franklin Googling his house in South LA or wherever it was.
Why did that? So we were talking about James Franklin, and then you said Jeff Franklin, and then it turned out Jeff Franklin was the creator of Full House.
Someone tweeted it. They tweeted out Jeff Franklin, meaning James Franklin, and that's how we got on it. And then we found out that Jeff Franklin was the creator of Full House, and then we ran with that for a while. And I mean, this is just what the Happer and Schaefer show was.
100%.
So I mean, it worked great. I mean, that was, to me, that's still probably our like landmark hour in that 4-month history of a show.
Yeah, and it was pretty early on too. That show only lasted like 4 months.
Firing their coach early. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because USC fired their coach on the second week of the season. Who does that?
That's right. So yeah, that was definitely the seminal moment in the Happer and Schaefer show. Also, 4 years ago today, it was COVID, and Nick Castellanos hit a deep drive to left while Tom Brenneman was apologizing.
Oh man, when Nick Castellanos hits a home run, it's always a major watershed moment in history.
It really is. By the way, just so we check it before we get to football, we've spent 7 minutes on other things, but we'll probably spend an eighth here. What's going to happen in the last 6 weeks of this season as it pertains to our baseball teams?
I am unclear if Cleveland attempts to just like want to make me feel terrible, and they're like, "Oh, we'll sweep somebody, so you won't feel as bad," and then they'll just lose 3 straight. I don't like the yo-yoing. Just figure it out. I don't know. I still feel like they're in a decent spot. They have the tiebreaker with the Twins. They're 7-2 against the Twins. They got all those games against the Royals coming up, so if they can just split that, that'd probably be good. Their schedule lightens a little bit. Their hitting has been terrible right now, which is what I thought it was going to be all year. I'm getting the version of the team that I expected in April, but now it's in August after they were gangbusters for 3 months, and now they've just been so-so for 2 months. It's very annoying. I don't like when I'm right after the fact, because now I don't want to be right. I still want to be wrong, and being right isn't fun anymore.
Hope can be a dangerous thing, Schaefer. It's the same thing is happening to the Royals as well. Like, they'll play really well and they'll sweep all these bad teams. They'll bludgeon the White Sox for the majority of the season, and then they'll play a team with a pulse and a team that they need to beat and just completely fall flat on their face. So I have no idea what's going to happen.
Here's something to make you a little sad. The Guardians and the Brewers have the exact same record. The Guardians lead the division by 2. The Brewers lead their division by 10.
Yeah.
This is what happens. The Guardians and the Twins and the Royals all have a good season, and it's all at the same time.
Yep. And it is revenge for the AL Central at large after being mostly crapped on for the last 5 years.
Yeah, when we've really ignored the fact the AL West has stunk.
Yep.
And yes, the Rangers won the World Series, and yes, the Astros have won a couple World Series. But for the most part, it's been the Astros, and everyone else has stunk.
No doubt.
And I feel like the AL West gets a pass, and I don't understand it.
I don't either. Yeah. Boo the AL. I'm glad we can make people aware of this. The AL West stinks, and people need to know about this. This is now the high horse we're on. A couple football things, Schaefer, before we get you out of here. So there's been a lot of talk about this over the last couple weeks. I think the conversation kind of really ramped up when the BTN crew came in last week, and Howard Griffith said, "Hey, it's Nebraska. Not only I'm excited about their quarterback, but I'm excited about their quarterback room." And then Matt Rule goes on his nice little stump speech for Daniel Kalen over the weekend. I always sort of balk at this conversation because I don't know how much it really matters to have a good quarterback room. But I guess, how encouraging is it to you that Nebraska has and really, when we talk about the room, we're making it up of young guys who have a future around here. I guess, what does that mean to you when people say Nebraska has a solid quarterback room?
You know what? In a weird way, it means to me, it means that they have a good wide receiver group. Like, I think so much of the quarterback conversation and the wide receiver conversation has to happen in tandem. In part because you think about all the way we talked about Adrian Martinez, and then you think back from 2019, who did he get to throw the ball to? In 2020, who was he getting to throw the ball? Like, And they just didn't have these great wide receivers. And then, of course, the year that he leaves, they go out and they end up with Trey Palmer. And so it's one of those things. I guess Samari Toure was pretty good in 2021, but it's one of those things. I think Nebraska's wide receiver room is so good that it's going to help the quarterback room. And I like Daniel Kalen coming in. I mean, I know that there's some sort of mixed thoughts there because he didn't have the best senior year. And I don't know that it was the best Bell West team that he had been a part of. But I thought Daniel Kalen was a guy that, was going to redshirt. And this was pre-Dylan Raiola. I thought he was someone that was going to put himself in contention to be, a guy Matt Rule would be able to trust by his second, third year in the program. And so the fact that Matt Rule likes him doesn't really surprise me. Daniel's a guy that works really, really hard, and he's a good teammate. And he's someone that I think is going to get every ounce of talent that he can out of his box. Now, is that going to be enough to get you to a Big Ten championship game? No idea. But I'm not surprised that they like him early on. He works really, really hard. I think he's a good communicator. I think he's one of those, student of the game type. And then, but really, just to spin it all back to the initial thought, so much of why I think anyone feels good about this program is because the wide receiver room just changes the whole picture of the offense. Like, they have dynamic weapons in a way they did not have last year. And obviously Dylan Raiola is a big part of all of that as a quarterback, but it also helps Heinrich Harburg and Daniel Kalen, whomever else gets to play in that room. I mean, so it's being able to throw to Jamal Banks and Isaiah Nair and, Jalen Lloyd in his second year and Malachi Coleman in his second year and Ja'Cory Barney, and all of these different weapons, let alone whatever you get out of Isaiah Garcia Castaneda and what Janiron Bonner can do for you and everything else. I just think the wide receiver room changes so much of how you feel about Nebraska's offense, independent of everything else.
I think it's a great point, and I'll kind of illustrate it this way too. Like, when we have these offseason conversations, Schaefer, we oftentimes talk about, like, hey, how do you feel about this group? How do you feel about the offensive line? How do you feel about the defensive backs? How do you feel about the linebackers? Whatever it might be. Like, so when people ask me the question, and you just did the same thing, like, people ask me the question, how do you feel about the offensive line? I say, well, the offense is going to be better. So, like, that means the offensive line, the burden that is placed upon the offensive line should be lightened. And the same goes for every other position. The better you get around any one either person or position. Like, it's an important thing. And I think it kind of illustrates a difference in the way the season actually works compared to how we actually talk about it in the offseason.
I think it also illustrates the difference of football versus, say, basketball. And maybe the fallacy of some of the Scott Frost era was that there was the expectation that someone had to be Superman for everything to go. Like, because Mackenzie Milton was so good at UCF, the idea was that if Adrian Martinez was that, he could lift everything else up. Instead of the idea that the collective all gets better at once, the team can rise. The idea was that if you have just this one transcendent talent, everyone else is better because of it. And I just think that's a lot harder to pull off in football.
Yep.
I mean, it's not basketball. You have so many more factors that go into it that you can have someone like Martinez who really seriously looks like he could make an NFL roster and not just like as a, complete joke or anything like that. He didn't look like that at Nebraska, in part because he just didn't have teammates to be able to do those things with.
Yeah, it's well, his football playing career has certainly aged differently than what we thought about him when he left Nebraska.
Certainly differently than it was discussed on the Happer and Schaefer show in 2020.
Indeed. Nobody pulled the tapes on that one. Mike Schaefer of Husker 247. Schaefer, looking forward to the coverage this week and as the season starts. Good to talk to you as always. Thank you for the gifts. Thanks for welcoming me to the world of parenting. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Have a good one, Happer. Have a good week.
Mike Schaefer of Husker 247. We will return with the odd news on the other side on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Okay, I have 3 things to say before the odd news.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
you knew I was going to come back and I was going to have stuff. You know?
No, that's what I was most excited about.
Okay, first of all, I mean, all this pertains to today's show. I got many comments, tweets, and texts during the Schaefer interview that we were off air for a moment.
I have been told we are back.
Yes, we are definitely back now.
Okay.
But thank you. Somebody was like, "Oh, I'm driving by the radio station. You guys just aren't there." I mean,
No,
first
we're
of all,
here.
yeah. First of all, that doesn't. Our tower's not here. Is it?
No.
Yeah. So I thought our tower's not here, so that doesn't have any bearing whatsoever on what you hear on your radio. In fact, you're like, "Oh, I'm close to the radio station. I should be able to hear them very well." It's actually no.
Right. Okay.
It doesn't work that way.
No.
Second thing, back to the cashless thing. Many people have commented this, very obvious. Why not, instead of passing your card down the row where people could steal it, definitely going to happen, definitely would happen, the hawker sends the machine down the row, then you pay for the card or you pay for the hot dog in private, pay for the hot dog in private, then send the machine back down the row. Interesting.
So what? Then someone could steal the machine.
Somebody would steal the machine,
and that hard-working hawker has to buy a new machine.
And that would be bad. So just an option. Just trying to make everything a little bit better. Also, the AVCA preseason top 25 is out. Volleyball season is here.
That's right. This week, right? Thursday.
Yes, this week. Nebraska is number 2. They received 15 first place votes. Creighton is number 12.
Hello, volleyball state.
Yeah, it's setting up to be quite the year for the Jays in volleyball. I think they feel good about that group for
Definitely.
sure. Nebraska certainly does as well. Okay, I'm out of the way now, Josh. Odd news.
Well, welcome back to the odd news.
Thank you.
We begin with the children last night. They had a game. Big league game at Williamsport, the Little League Classic.
Tariq Skubal pitched.
That's right.
Aaron Judge said Tariq Skubal is the best pitcher in baseball.
That's right.
Josh, I want to remind people of something. Before the season, I told you, I think Tariq Skubal might win the Cy Young this year. And you know what Josh Johnson did? He listened to me.
I did.
And he said, I'm going to go to a parking lot in Council Bluffs and place a wager for Tariq Skubal to win the American League Cy Young. And guess what's going to happen? Tariq Skubal's going to win the American League Cy Young.
That's right, Connor.
And most people, it's August 19th, most people are like, Tariq Skubal? Who's that? We've known about him for months.
That's right. People were excited to maybe I've heard rumblings of this Tariq Skubal fella. I finally get to see him play baseball.
Yeah. We are the
Sunday Night
preeminent
baseball.
Tariq Skubal knowing show.
Well, and Torkelson back in the base.
He is back.
That's good. Good for him.
Some names on that team, huh?
One of those names is Bo Brisky.
That's a name.
I had not heard of him until yesterday.
Matt Vierling. That's a name.
That is. Part of ESPN's extensive Little League World Series coverage involves segments where they show pre-recorded answers from players. What's your favorite food? What's your favorite app? What's your favorite emoji? Well, who would you like to meet if you could meet anyone? For Tigers pitcher Bo Brisky, he said, quote, "One person I would love to meet, Abraham Lincoln. I'd just like to pick his brain, to be quite honest. That sounds bad now that I say it." That's not me editorializing. That's him in real time thinking,
Josh,
oh yeah.
And once again, pre-recorded.
That's right. Wasn't live.
Yeah, they were just, they could have just not done that at all.
Could have cut it off at honest.
So maybe we as a society are finally over the Abraham Lincoln murder assassination.
That's right. They could have used his answer for favorite emoji or said, "Oh, it's Bo Brisky. Nobody's expecting us to air a segment featuring Bo Brisky. Why don't we just not have Bo Brisky answer one of our questions?"
Could you, I'll talk for a second. Could you grab the video? Because I
Sure.
think the sound is pretty funny because
Okay.
like you said, he can hear We can all hear him in real time saying, "Oh, didn't mean to say it like that. It came out different than how I thought in my head." Once again, Abraham Lincoln, I'd like to pick his brain on some things. And because the obvious thing that he was thinking in his head to say after that is, well, maybe his brain has already been picked a little bit. But like I said, I think the big picture here is time plus tragedy. We are finally over the Abraham Lincoln assassination.
Right. Took a while. Took a lot longer than people probably thought, but here's Bo Brisky.
One person I would love to meet, Abraham Lincoln. I'd just like to pick his brain, to be quite honest. That sounds bad now that I say it.
And then they just hard cut to the next guy.
That's right.
That might have been better when all the New Jersey leaguers said that their favorite baseball player was Jason Marquis. That might be my favorite Little League World Series clip now.
My name's Big Al, and I hit dingers.
Oh, that's a good one, too. Top 5 Little League World Series clips of all time? Interesting.
If we need it.
Yeah. Next.
We go to Florida. Normally we end, but here we are in the middle. Police arrived at a residence with evidence of a ravioli attack last week.
I'd like to be attacked by raviolis.
That's right. 21-year-old woman, angry that her sister would not share the food she brought home, was arrested on a battery charge involving ravioli. Cops say Nikisha Davis got mad at her blood-related sister.
Okay, it's
Not
just
sure
a
why,
sister.
Yeah, not sure why it's worded that way. After the victim did not allow the defendant to have any of the food she delivered to the pair's Florida home. The miffed sister, cops allege, retaliated by throwing a plate of raviolis at her sibling. When a patrolman arrived at the Clearwater property, the victim still had sauce on her face.
That's a pretty good indicator.
That's right. The arrest report does not indicate what kind of ravioli was used in the alleged attack or whether the pasta was coated in a tomato, pesto, cheese, or butter-based topping.
Yeah, pesto ravioli, I don't know.
No.
I'm kind of out on pesto.
I am as well. I want to like it, so I keep trying it. And
we might have had
just not done.
Much like people think about Michael Keaton around here, we might have had an over pestoization of society.
Ooh.
I think people are pestoing too much stuff. I think people think it's cool because it's not red sauce, but it's still like Italian, or whatever. Like it's actually not even that good. There's a reason why they've been doing it for hundreds and hundreds of years in Italy, because it's better. It's red. I would figure Nebraskans would appreciate
That's right. Poll question up at Happer Show. Is there an over pestoization of society?
Yeah, I also threw another one up there.
Oh,
would you like to be attacked by ravioli? Would you like to be attacked?
Yes, I would.
I would love to be attacked by ravioli.
We end the odd news today in Myrtle Beach.
Beach.
And like a story last week where an Iowa man shot his father in the face because he said he had stinky feet. I want to stress
news story?
That was. I want to stress that everyone's okay before I read this story.
Okay, that's good.
A man is accused of holding candy store workers at gunpoint over a dispute in Myrtle Beach last week. Joshua Kim, 36 years young, went into Sugar Life Ice Cream and Candy Bar and argued with 2 employees over returning candy, according to arrest warrants. When one of the employees told Kim that he could not have a refund, he pulled out a gun and threatened to shoot the 2 workers. A manager at Sugar Life said they don't do return. A manager at Sugar Life said they don't do returns on candy, and they make that clear during the checkout process.
Yeah, you just don't think that that statement's going to come back to haunt you as the candy store employee.
The employee said he recounts the harrowing tale. He says the Joshua Kim person said, "I'll put a chunk in your head if you don't bring me back my money right now. It's no lie. It's no lie." Employee Edelson Mejia said.
And they found this man.
They found him quite quickly. And this may shock you as well. They found cocaine and weed inside his vehicle.
You just think, if you're going to rob something at gunpoint, this is not the answer. First of all, the candy store in general, just not going to get much there.
Very low cost items.
But more specifically, the candy store, to get a return on the many cents that you spent on candy. Like it's just the wrong time for a gun.
I just really want to know what the candy was and why he was returning it. Like, oh, I got a Chico stick. I haven't seen a Chico stick in 40 years. Oh, turns out I haven't seen a Chico stick in 40 years because they're terrible.
Or it's expired or something like that. It's like, I want my money back. It's like, yeah.
This extremely sour candy was just kind of sour. I'd like my money back.
That's a pretty socially accepted thing, right? You go to the candy store, you pretty much know that you don't have the ability to get a refund. All purchases are final.
I went to the candy store this weekend.
Did you know that all purchases were final when you went to that candy store?
I knew that. I was like, okay, this is it. Whatever we're getting, we're going. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Like, it's a gamble.
When I see a store tell me and make some sort of note that all purchases are final, I know what kind of store I'm going to. And I happily accept the terms. They might not be advantageous for me. I'd like to keep my leverage in a lot of cases. I'd like to be able to return it if it's bad. But in the case of the candy store, it's just not worth the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of, they let you know most of the time when it's a all sales final type of store.
Indeed.
They're very proud of that fact.
Response to a poll question here.
Oh.
The question being, is there an over pestoization of society? Here's from Derek at Darelicious on Twitter. Candidate for the worst take in show history, pesto is the besto.
You just wanted to say pesto is the besto.
I kind of did, but also I'd like to make note that my first day back in 3 weeks has resulted in the worst take in show history. We are back.
Many food takes were given.
Somebody came up to me at the Storm Chasers game and said, "We missed your bad food takes."
Oh.
I go, "I got more. Just wait."
Just wait, buddy.
Sorry, just like the football season, you just got to wait for it a little bit. Also, Matt writes in.
Hi, Matt.
At Happer Show, come for the sports, stay for the robbery tips. We got you covered.
We're making a better brand of criminal here on the Connor Happer Show.
I just want people to be smart about the way they do crime.
Yeah.
That's all. Everybody stay safe out there.
There's that new promo we need.
We will be back on the other side. Let's hear from Matt Rule from over the weekend. I think he gave a really good, barometer kind of 2 minutes. Here's where we're at right now. Here's where I want us to be by the time the season starts. So we'll hear from him on that and plenty more next on 1620 The Zone.
Upon further review, the host's last statement was deemed to be somewhat comical. Somewhat. The Connor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.
He has the latest sports news, expert analysis, award-winning commentary, and a pocket full of cabbage.
Can you give us an indication why?
Just in case there's a sauerkraut emergency.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, I'm just getting from. Are these being debuted today?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have never won an award for anything. Just to be very clear,
People who come on our show have.
that's probably true.
Yeah.
That's probably true. Yes, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Somebody who's come on our show has won some sort of an award.
Sipple has to have won an award for something.
Yeah, they must have given him the
Lifetime
Writer of
Achievement Award.
the Writer of the Year at some point. Hey, congrats on still being alive. I did hear the bit where Sipple was driving through Kansas and got a raw chicken taco and was trying to not get canceled. So he just ate it. He was like, I'm going to eat this taco because I thought that's how it was supposed to go.
Very mindful.
Yeah. Very, very demure. Josh, wow, that's a TikTok thing.
I know.
Interesting. Also, pesto seems to be a
very controversial subject.
Yeah, pretty polarizing. I didn't know pesto was so polarizing. So please vote at Happer Show. All right, let's hear from Matt Rule. I believe in you, Josh. I think we got all this right on the video side of things.
God help me.
I just think you got to go.
Yeah,
just got to send it.
Uh-huh.
All right. So I have a question to ask you all before we do this. Are you antsy for Matt Rule to announce the quarterback? Because I am not.
No.
I am not. I think they're like the only advantage you get by announcing it maybe earlier or a week ago, like we're probably past the point now, is if you were in the dog days of training camp, which you definitely were probably about a week ago, like you're just trying to get through it somehow. Let's figure this out. And if you felt like you needed some sort of a burst of energy, right? I think
we
announcing
need some positivity. We need something everybody could get excited about.
Announcing Dylan Raiola as your starting quarterback a week ago would have provided a nice short burst, and probably it would have been the coffee that you needed to get across the camp finish line. Right. Now it's August 19th. We already know who the starting quarterback is going to be. I don't care. I don't care when they announce it. I don't care how they announce it.
They very clearly have a plan with him and are not deviating from the plan for anything.
I think there has been less throughout camp. When they would get questions about Dylon before, it would be, by the way, I haven't hit this in a while.
Dylon.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
When they would get questions about him before, it would be like, yeah, well, we got 3 quarterbacks. Remember? It's not just him. We got 3 quarterbacks.
They're good too. They could play.
There's less of that. And then when they get those questions now, there's this assumption that comes along with the question of like, hey, I know you haven't announced anything yet, but I know.
Right.
Zach, he was on the Zach Gelb show. Zach sent us the clips or whatever, which was really nice. Thank you, Zach.
Thanks, Zach.
And that was how he prefaced the question. He was like, hey, I know you haven't announced anything yet, but talk about this Dylan Raiola guy. So there's this assumption that everyone knows what's going to happen.
I believe Revson even worded his question to Matt Rule in a similar manner.
Yes. I don't care when or how they do this. But it's coming.
Somebody on our show last week said it very well. The day Dylon committed was the day he was named the starter for the University of Nebraska.
Yeah. And I think other people's job behind him has been to make it difficult. And I do think there is an air of maybe delicacy with this and how you want to play it with Harburg. And like you want to make, when you have come to that decision, you want to make every intention clear to both of those guys. Here's what we're going to do with you. Here's our plan for you. We think you could be a real asset to this team, whether it's him being the backup quarterback or him doing special package stuff or like whatever it might be. And the same thing, I guess, for Kalen as well.
You don't want to fawn over Dylon in public and, push the other quarterbacks out the door, so to speak.
So there's with any quarterback position and any quarterback announcement, if the job is
quote unquote open, there is this kind of delicacy about it. It is just it's a little fragile. But with that being said, we know how this is going to go. We just don't know when. Do we care? Is my question that I have to you all. So you can respond to that. 402-951-1620. Here's Matt Rule. A couple clips on this from his Saturday press conference, which I thought was noteworthy in a couple areas. We'll play them for you here. The timeline on naming the quarterback.
Probably at some point this week. Yeah, probably be ready to name it at some point this week. So, we'll go out and watch the tape now, kind of look at a lot of different positions and sort of set, hey, here's the depth we have going into the first game.
This week. He said that on Saturday. This was an interesting question, as asked by interesting question asker Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald, who will join us in 40 minutes. When you go to do this, when you make this said announcement, will it be evident? Will it be evident who the quarterback is going to be? Basically, have you seen a gap? Has this person kind of stuck out? I think that's kind of what he was getting at. Rule stumbles with this one a little bit. You don't see Rule get tripped up. I think he had. I think he was very careful with how he was trying to word this. Here he is.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I think we feel really confident in all the guys. So, yeah, it might be. Yeah, that's a really good question, Sam. I think the thing that we have is we have three guys that we feel like can lead us to win. And so from that part, it's hard. But can someone be more advanced at this point than someone else? Yes. The difficult part in it is that you have one guy who's played and you've seen him play, and you know how hard it is to play, and you've seen two guys who haven't played yet in college. So that's maybe the unknown factor here. But all three guys have worked really hard, done a good job, and I'm sure they'll all continue to improve.
And I think if you're looking for a reason of why they have been, I don't know, hesitant's the right word, but just why they haven't named Dylan Raiola the starter or why they haven't heaped praise on top of him, you just heard it. It's not because they're scared of him getting too much expectations and hype and all that stuff. It's that's not the primary reason. Is that an added advantage of not doing it so early? Sure. Maybe, but we all know the answer anyway. Like, he's going to be the guy. It is because they haven't done it and they haven't said it. They could have done it on the first day of spring ball if they wanted to. Hey, we're approaching this as if Dylan Raiola is a starting quarterback. They didn't do it. Why? Because Heinrich Haarberg started last year for the portion of the season that was successful for Nebraska, and he's still on the roster. So they're being careful with all that, and I think they want to, make known to him what his role is going to be and all that stuff as well. Like I said, I don't care how they do it. I don't care when they do it. I'm interested to see how they do it and when they do it and what they will do for it. Will there be, white smoke coming up from Memorial Stadium?
Will there be a graphic?
Will there be a graphic?
That gets sent out and all it says with the graphic, QB1.
Or will they say it or will he say it on the Monday press conference? And the first question is going to be, hey, who's going to be your starting quarterback? Say, I think we're going to go with Dylan. I think we'll probably go with Dylan and we'll see.
I'm leaning Dylan.
Yeah. But yeah, make no mistake about it. That's your starting quarterback. He also had some comments about Daniel Kalen that we might save for either later in the show or another time. But here's the big one. The question was simple. How was the scrimmage? How'd it go? And in this, I believe this is about 2 minutes long. So stick with us here. In these 2 minutes, I think you get a really good sense of where Matt Rule thinks his team is right now. The second scrimmage in fall camp is a barometer type of scrimmage. It is a scrimmage that if you are a player who thinks they're on the two deep, can cement you on the two deep. If you're a player who's trying to earn a spot on the two deep, you can get there by making plays in the second scrimmage. The first scrimmage is always sloppy. The second scrimmage, which was just this past Saturday, is a really good indicator of the guys that they are going to move forward with. All right, Matt Rule, how'd it go?
It's funny you asked me that because I told the team out there, I usually will not say anything after a scrimmage because I've learned over the years, let me watch the tape. But I said something today, and I'll say it to you. I told them, I feel like they're really close to being a good team. but they're not there yet. And here's what I mean. You know, the first team offense, first 2 drives wasn't great, and all of a sudden 14 play drive, next drive 11 play drive. So you're converting third downs, you're moving the ball, you're creating plays. Yet the defense not letting a big play emerge, right? Just, you know, making them methodically move the ball down the field, getting pressure on the quarterback, yet there's good protection. So it was like iron sharpening iron truly. You get down in the red zone, though, they hold the offense to a field goal, and we're going to need a touchdown to win. And so I feel like, you know, the offense was a procedure penalty at a crucial moment, or like a big play away from having a great day, but they got in their own way. The first team offense didn't turn the ball over. They protected the ball the entire day, but I think they had like 4 or 5 penalties, right? Like, and we're trying to do some advanced things. We're trying to go on to. We're trying to, you know, see what you're in and play more NFL style football. And we weren't able to handle that in crucial moments today, where we would jump and hurt ourselves. So there's a lot of good things happening, way further ahead than where we've been. Yet it just isn't to the level we want. We got 2 weeks to buff it out and get it right. You know, what concerns me at times is our second group. You know, as our next group, they keep acting like they're the second group, and they're supposed to act like they're the first group. I think the second team offense might have had 4 turnovers today. Now they also had some big plays. So it's that group that you know, to me, hey, we need you guys to come along, okay? And then I saw a lot of potential from the third groups. I saw a lot of guys. I challenged our staff in front of everyone. Hey, go watch the tape and figure out the things that, you know, make sure we're playing the right guys, because when you're not a great team last year, what you end up having is you're having a lot of guys who kind of play because they can kind of execute. When you want to make the jump to being a good team, it's everyone starts to execute. So now it's the guy who can execute and then go make the big play. And who's making those plays. And so I really like where we are. I really do. I really like where we are, except I don't like some of the second unit production today. And the offense has to clean up a couple more procedural penalties if they want to be the type of team like that, you know, can play grown man football, can do the things that you do on Sundays, on Saturdays.
So I tweeted out that back half of that last night, and my takeaway from it was that sounds like a guy who is holding his team to a standard that is certainly above last year, right? So I said, if you're looking for reasons why, like, Nebraska's an obvious bowl team this year, an obvious candidate to get one more win than they had a year ago, you have it. They got a bunch of guys in the roster who could execute. They had that at the end of last year, or they had that. They had it at the beginning of last year, and then they got beat up. That's something that we probably don't talk about enough. We could get to it when I get to my spreadsheeting that I did while I was out. By the way, sneak preview: Alex Bullock played 80% of Nebraska's offensive snaps last year.
Still can't believe it every time you tell me it.
80%. He was the highest non-offensive lineman that was out there. He played the most snaps out of any person that didn't play offensive line last year for Nebraska on offense. Alex Bullock. And why was he out there, Josh? Because he could execute. Because he could do the things that were asked of him. It's like, it's simple. It's as simple as that. But at a certain point during the season last year, Nebraska didn't have that option anymore, with the exception of Bullock, obviously. He was out there all the time. Because Isaiah Garcia-Castaneda went down, because Marcus Washington went down. They had injuries at quarterback. They had injuries at running back. Ramir Johnson and Gabe Ervin both left at the same time. We don't talk about that stuff very much. And so a lot of those guys are back this year, and they're expecting production out of them. Those were guys that they were going to be able to count on last year who can execute. I think Matt Rule is still looking for players who can go make plays. I think he's got a lot of guys who can execute, a lot of them. And the longer you just stack that execution on top of execution, the better football team you're going to be. That's how Iowa has made its living for as long as we can remember now. They just got guys who can execute. And that probably doesn't give enough credit because they got a lot of playmakers on that defense. But on offense, they're just trying to, get by, figure it out, execute, right? Don't turn the football over. It's an obvious recipe to be a bowl team. It's an obvious recipe to be, maybe like a New Year's bowl team, somewhere around there.
Do your job.
Do your job.
Who said that?
Many people.
Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick, most notably.
Who
Interesting.
talked to the team.
Oh, did he say that message when he was here?
I don't know what he says when he's there.
Gotcha. I'm very rich. I have a young girlfriend. That's what
you
he said.
can too.
You can too if you just do your job. Damn it. But I think he's still looking for guys who could really, go and make plays, because that's kind of the next step. So it's also the same reason why Nebraska's probably not going to be a college football playoff team this year. Like they are a year away from finding more and more of those guys. Make no mistake about it. The roster is in a better position than it was a year ago. Matt Rule is holding this team to a higher standard than they were a year ago. A year ago, it was just, at this moment, it was figuring out if he had enough guys who could execute. And then the whole second team thing was kind of interesting too, the backups acting like backups. Like, I think he wants 40 to 50 guys who want to be out there. That is ingrained, unfortunately, into the DNA of this program recently. I think they got a lot of guys who, I guess, what's the right way to put this? I don't, if I'm playing shortstop in a baseball game, there's a difference between playing shortstop and doing it well and then sitting there and hoping and praying that the ball comes to you because you're the guy to make the play. I think they got a lot of shortstops who just sit there as yeah, I can do this if asked, if called upon. I think they want more guys who say, this ball better come to me because I'm the guy to make this play. I'm the guy. I don't trust anybody else. I don't trust anybody else to make this play. If it goes to right, it's out of my control. I don't want it to be out of my control. I want it to be in my control. I think he's searching for those guys. I
didn't have many takeaways from the Big Ten training camp, but one of the things that kind of made my ears perk up was Matt Rule is coaching less in this camp.
That was it. So part of me being gone for the last 2 weeks is I've got to see the couple open periods of practice.
We saw the photos.
It was a thing that I noticed right away.
He's not setting the expectation anymore in training camp because that's already a known thing.
It's just expected.
Yes.
Yeah, it just is. You have to play to a standard. Everybody has to play to a standard. You're not playing against a 6 wins. You're playing to a standard that you hold yourself to.
Yes.
And that's being perfect at everything. That's being really, can you be perfect? Being good at everything. So it's I think there's a middle area in there, and that's where Nebraska lies. And there's no shame in that. Nebraska, if there was a bet out there, will Nebraska make a bowl this year? It'd be minus 250 or whatever. It's a yes, they're going to make a bowl. It's a yes.
It's a yes.
It's a yes. It's an obvious yes. And that's if Dylan Happer, what if Dylan Raiola gets, breaks his leg in the third quarter of the first game?
Don't you put that juju on me.
Even if that happens, Nebraska's still going to a bowl. This is not all on the quarterback's shoulders. It's a standard that Matt Rule's holding the program to. That means they're going to have a better backup. That means they're going to have a better third stringer. And that means everybody around those guys are going to help that player get better. That's the reason why I'm excited about Dylan Raiola, because he walks into a pretty good situation, as I've talked about all summer long. So there's more in there. He talked about running backs. He talked about his little speech that went viral from the chasing three thing.
Oh, yes. The only thing we talked about last week.
I bet. I bet. So there's a lot in there, but I thought that was really, really noteworthy. By the way, also at that practice, Josh, the first one, I was wearing my Royals hat. Matt Rule asked me if he wanted my hat, or if he could have my hat.
You should have given it to him, because that one he's wearing in the video clips we're showing is terrible.
I know, and that's what he asked. He offered a trade, and I said, no, I don't want your garbage ass hat. Also, his head is too big.
Right, it looks like
he has a giant head. So I don't want his hat. It's the hat with the block N on it.
But the ends,
It's small.
It's too small.
Yeah.
The bill looks like it's too long.
It's a bad head.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Are you a Royals fan?" And he was like, I spent some time in Kansas City. It's like, what are you talking about? He's a fan of everything. He is a man of everywhere.
This is how I make conversation with people. Oh, you have a Royals hat on. Let me cozy up to this guy and make his day. Yeah.
Obviously he needs my approval. So somebody else came along and they asked, well, who'd you root for in the 2015 World Series, Matt? And he said, well, I rooted for the Mets. I go, it sounds like you're quite the Royals fan then, coach.
Got him.
I'm not interested in your trades. Not interested. All right, so we'll have some more from Rule, and we'll have Sam McKewon's thoughts coming up in just a few minutes. Coming up next, we'll play a game of Choose Your Interior Designer.
Oh, we'd love that at sports radio.
It is sports. Don't worry. It is still sports. Would you rather have Nick Saban or Kalen DeBoer? Next on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. We have a zone deal this week. The zone deals are great. We love zone deals.
The best.
The zone deal this week is to Woodcliff Restaurant, which is voted Omaha's best outdoor patio. Perfect for a romantic dinner for two or a family dinner. Enjoy all of Woodcliff's delicious food with a perfect view of Woodcliff Lake. And don't miss Thursday's weekly burger special or Friday's fish special. You know the deal, two $25 gift vouchers, which is a $50 value for just $25. They're on sale Friday at 9 at 1620thezone.com. That is the Woodcliff half off deal. So let's play a little game here, Josh. Choose your interior designer. TC writes in.
Hey, TC.
Interior designer. Who do they think they are? Joanna Gaines? Axel Vervoort?
I don't know that one.
I don't know who that is either. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I should have background checked that.
That's a
quick.
Belgian visual artist.
Okay. You tell me. Now, I'm genuinely curious.
TC is a worldly fella.
He knows a lot of things. Who is better? Who is better? Not as a coach, but which man cave would you rather have? Which office would you rather have? Nick Saban's office used to look like this. He's old. He's got, if you're watching with us on YouTube, everything is wood. Everything else is leather. There's lamps that are not built into the walls, not built into the ceilings. The lights, I'm sure, are very rarely on in this room. There is a hutch.
Yep.
There would never be a hutch in a new place. Nobody's bought a hutch in years, but there's a hutch in Nick Saban's office.
It's so true.
Who's bought a hutch in the last 10 years?
You get handed a hutch when you get married.
Nobody
and move
wants
in.
the hutch. Leave the hutch on your curb. Somebody will come and take the hutch. There's pictures on the wall. There's just a lot of stuff. That couch has been very sat on, and it also is very regal, and it has a way of subtly displaying how good Nick Saban is at coaching football and how historically relevant the Alabama football program is and was.
2 poll questions up at Happer Show. Question 1, have you ever purchased a hutch? Question 2, do you own a hutch?
Good.
I expect them to be very different percentages.
So there's Nick Saban and his hutch. There's a lot of stuff in the hutch. I'm sure there's some personal items in there.
Many leather-bound books in this office.
Nick Saban has retired. He's out. He's going to
People forget.
He's going to do College Game Day.
That's right.
He's going to be very good at it.
College Game Day this Saturday, live from Dublin, Ireland.
But he does not get an office inside of Bryant-Denny Stadium anymore. Well, he probably does if he wanted it, but not this one. This is the head coach's office. He has to give that back and hand it over to Kalen DeBoer, who has taken this very same room and turned it into this. That's the same room, Josh.
Now,
that's the same room.
It's unbelievable when you say that, but the literally the only reason I can tell that is the same room is the ceiling.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we could, yeah, there you go. The ceiling does kind of look the same, huh?
Yep.
It's the same-ish. There's the same kind of design on the ceiling. Kalen DeBoer has gone for a very modern, very light,
natural
bright.
light.
There's very little wood, if any wood.
I don't see a single lamp.
The couch is small, and it's the type of couch that you wouldn't even really care to sit in.
Right.
It's really a standing space.
There's no, we're not sitting on couches in Kalen DeBoer's Alabama. We're working.
But the thing about Kalen DeBoer's office is that it's gone for a couple things. Number one, natural light, which I love. And number two, space. Space to move around, space to walk around. You could have people in the room visit. But it's very modern. Nick Saban has gone for old, regal. I can smell Nick Saban's office. right?
Smells like rich mahogany.
Yes. So, my question to you all, now that you've seen them, if you're watching along with us on YouTube, which do you prefer? Are you old or are you young? Do you like light or do you like dark? Do you like couch or do you like standing?
Am I the coach of Alabama in this scenario?
No,
or am I just a person? Am I just me?
You're just you.
Okay.
You're just you. Because I think there is advantages, and there's cool parts of both.
Right.
There's cool parts of both. Like you walk into Nick Saban's office, you're like, whoa, I'm in Nick Saban's office. Look at that hutch.
Nobody else's office in college football looks like Nick Saban's office.
No.
Many other coaches' offices in college football look like Kalen DeBoer's.
Every room in any college football facility looks like Kalen DeBoer's office.
Yes.
Except for it has a couple more commemorative footballs. That's all.
There are offices in the Reaver Sports Complex that look like Kalen DeBoer's.
They look exactly like that.
Largest locker room in the state of Iowa.
I'll put that right up there. Look at that. That's how. And by the way, Josh, I don't know if you noticed in this photo, you know who's in this photo that's currently up on ZoneTV.live? JJ Watt. He's standing right there. JJ Watt would never go into Nick Saban's office. Too dark.
Interesting. He glommed on to a winner. How out of character for JJ Watt.
I am a person who prefers. I'm not saying that newer is always better, because that's not the case.
Okay, Barney.
There is something. I did watch a lot of How I Met Your Mother, by the way. I think there is something to the sophistication of it all, and there's something to understanding whose office you're walking into when you do. But I just am really big on space, and I'm probably like an undiagnosed claustrophobia guy.
Oh,
like I'm not sure. I just like having the freedom to move around. I like when the air is clear. I like when there's natural light. And so when it comes to coach versus coach interior design war, give me Kalen DeBoer, the new guy. Better office.
In the last 2 years, I want to say, I have been obsessed with I need as much natural light as possible.
I know. It's great, isn't it?
And so I'm leaning Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah. Aaron writes in on the text line.
Hi, Aaron.
Young me wants Kalen DeBoer's. Me now wants Saban's. As you get older, do you like leather more? Is this a thing?
I think so. No.
And when do you get to the age where you start liking leather and darkness? I'm curious because I have not arrived at that age yet.
This would be taken wildly out of context in a poll question.
It would be, but maybe that makes it funnier.
Yeah.
Maybe that makes it funnier. I'm curious. What age am I going to get? Like, what age do I have to expect me really liking leather and darkness? Because I'm definitely not there right now.
Poll question up at Happer Show. Is there an age when you start liking leather?
You know, Nick Saban's office, there's a lot of things that we can assume about these offices from the pictures as well. Nick Saban's office is warm. It is humid. There is definitely the mahogany leather smell to it. But it's really, there's a warmth to it.
Hey, coach, are you okay if I light up this cigar in your office? Yes, absolutely. Many have before you.
People have been smoking in here for years. Kalen DeBoer's office, it's 64 degrees. It's very unwelcoming from that perspective.
Right. Frigid.
It's really an office for standing.
Women do not go in there because it's so cold.
That's exactly right. So there's pluses and minuses to both. Joel writes in.
Hi, Joel.
My ancestors bought a hutch 4 generations ago, so I wouldn't be burdened with such a task. Also, I like the old office, or the study, if you will.
Absolutely.
It is definitely more of a study vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Mason Daniel writes in.
Hi, Mason.
I have to say both of those offices are way too stale for me to function in. The first one looks like Teddy Roosevelt's, and the second looks like a Foot Locker.
Yes.
It does.
Would you be shocked if there was an elephant gun hanging on the wall of Nick Saban's?
There is definitely a belt.
Yes.
How many belts does Nick Saban have? He has so many pelts.
Uh-huh.
I love that because you get to look into a guy's office and you could just assume a lot of things about him.
Yep.
You could really picture the character right there. He's got pelts.
Nick Saban was, they ain't firing me. I'm going to be here a while. I'm moving in.
Yeah.
Kalen DeBoers is very much.
You're going to have to wreck this thing when I leave. Like literally demolish the room. Charles, Nick Saban has an archive. Come back into my archive. He's got just newspaper clippings everywhere. It's good.
Have you seen the tweet, Connor?
No.
From On3? Are you familiar with the fine folks?
What did
at
On3 aggregate now?
On3 preseason true freshman All-American.
Oh, they actually did. They did content.
Yes.
Sorry, On3.
Nebraska quarterback Dylan Raiola.
First team. Yeah.
But is he the starter?
Yeah. Here is On3's preseason true freshman All-American team. Quote from On3 director of scouting and ranking, Charles Power.
Hi, Charles.
Dylan Raiola is the highest rated quarterback to sign with Nebraska in some time, and it took very little time for him to nail down the starting spot in Lincoln.
Well.
Hey, Charles! Come on! Jump to conclusions much, Charles? He brings an advanced level of physical development, passing polish, along with plus arm strength to the position, and is a foundational piece in Matt Rule's effort to rebuild the program. Raiola will be tested early with playing a tough Big Ten schedule in the New Look Conference. His ability to quickly pick up the scheme in Nebraska has set him up to see the field earlier than most of his peers. Charles making a lot of assumptions there. Where's Heine?
Yeah.
That's my question.
I mean, he's not a freshman, but.
Well, where's, what's his name? Danny? Yeah.
Yeah.
Put him on there.
Why not?
I don't know.
It's also,
I think there's a conversation just to be had about what, not necessarily what the expectation is for Dylan, but the statistical expectation for him. Like, you guys realize they're not going to, I don't know, they'll throw it around a little bit, certainly more than they have in recent years, but like, I don't know. We'll get this straight in the next couple of weeks here, but like, he's not going to throw for 6,000 yards, you know. He's not gonna be dropping back 42 times a game. Right. So I feel like that's gotten a little bit out of whack. All right, we'll come back. Top of the hour, Sam McKewon will join us. Still a couple more things I want to get to on the other side. More comments on if you guys like the smell of rich mahogany as well. Coming up on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
Sam McKewon's going to join us in just a minute. Meanwhile, Pete Thamel is texting every coach in the country today and asking him who their starting quarterback is. Here's the most recent one. We have a decision at Arizona State. They open against Wyoming. They have chosen redshirt freshman Sam Leavitt to be their starting quarterback. If that name sounds familiar, it's because Nebraska had some interest in the portal.
Kick the tires.
That was before the one guy, the Ohio State quarterback, McCord, and then that was before Dylon. So everything got wiped out when Dylon came around, obviously. Sam Leavitt has transferred to Arizona State where he has won the job, and he has beat out Jeff Sims.
Man.
What a battle it must have been. Also, this morning, Pete Thamel tweets, a starting quarterback decision for week 0 has been made for Nevada. Nevada will start quarterback Brendan Lewis in the week 0 opener. Transfer Chubba Purdy has been hampered by a shoulder injury and has been limited in practice. So it sounds like they may have wanted to go with the Chubb.
Yeah.
But didn't quite get there. Didn't get full Chubb.
Not ready to go this week.
No. So you had to go with the incumbent. Lewis started 10 of 12 games for Nevada last year, and all 13 for Colorado pre-Dion in 21 and 22. He threw for 1,300 yards last year and 2 touchdowns. Not good.
2?
Yeah. Not good.
Okay.
Not good. So, imagine the tweet from Pete when he says, Heinrich Harburg has won the starting quarterback job in Nebraska. He threw for, like 600 yards and 3 touchdowns or whatever it was last year. But he also ran for some yards. Yeah. He beat out 5-star quarterback Dylan Raiola for the job. No, that didn't happen. I wonder if Pete will do a Nebraska tweet today. Tomorrow. I don't know.
Feels like the day.
Who knows?
Why not today? Let's just do it.
Who knows?
Let's do it.
A couple thank yous, by the way, I would like to send out before we take a break here regarding my my leave. First of all, thanks to everybody, whether it's here or at all of the various places I work, for being super supportive. It's like, hey, congratulations. Like, I feel the new little girl in the house feels very, very welcome into the world. That's for sure. She has the clothes to prove it. A special thanks to Tom Chattel. So did you happen to read Chattel's column a couple weeks ago?
No.
At the bottom, one more and I'm out of here. I got the one more and I'm out of here treatment from Tom Chattel. A hearty congratulations to the Happers.
Hey.
Here's what it says. It says, the proud dad and midday radio host on 1620 AM reports that Sophie arrived 7 pounds, 10 ounces, 21 inches. She appears to be a righty, has a good grip, has more hair than dad. Connor reports that Sophie is already a student of the game of baseball, and she was impressed with Cole Reagan's ability to pitch when he didn't have his best stuff. Looking forward to that first interview. I wonder who his source was.
Wow. I mean, don't reveal your source, Tom.
No, I wouldn't. Also, a special thank you to Brian, who's a listener to the show. So, out of the Storm Chasers game a couple weeks ago, they were doing another one of their great jersey auctions, game-worn jersey auctions at the end. And it was the Marvel jerseys, the blue ones for this year. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I'm familiar.
And so that night was their last night of wearing them. They had worn them a couple times this season. So they auctioned them off after the game. When I got to the ballpark that day, I think it was my first or second day back, they said, hey, you can wear this. It was supposed to belong to Carlos Hernandez, who was called up to the major leagues, you could wear Carlos's jersey. It was a little big for me, and I don't throw 100 miles an hour.
Oh, okay.
So I got Carlos's jersey that night, and I wore it around the ballpark. And Brian came up and asked, and he said, "Well, are you auctioning off your jersey?" And I said, "Well, no. You want the jersey because I was like, oh, I want the jersey. You could sign it." And so for a jersey that we weren't going to auction off, I believe the donations were made to, I want to get this right. I think it was Make-A-Wish, one of the local organizations that the Storm Chasers support. They got a big donation for the jersey auction. And so an extra league minimum amount of money in a donation was made for a signed Connor Happer worn jersey while he emceed a baseball game. I even went on the field and signed it. There's pictures to prove it. That made me feel really good about myself. I liked that.
Look at you.
I signed it, and they actually wanted it. They wanted that. I go, are you sure you want my signature on this nice jersey? They're like, yes. So that was an experience that I had never had before. What does that have to do with me being a dad? I'd like to think a little bit.
It was requested.
It was indeed. So I don't know. There's probably more. Thank you to Josh. Josh.
Me?
Josh, yes.
Or Josh Peterson.
You.
Oh.
You held down the fort for these 3 weeks. I could imagine that it was difficult. I could putting all of that together and getting the people in here and figuring out what I've heard good reports on everybody, by the way. I've heard everybody did a great job.
Everyone did great.
But in order to make it seem good, you guys have to know that Josh Odson is the person behind that. Because the other person comes in here and they have no idea what to do. And so Josh drives the bus and he steers and he presses the gas. And so Josh, thank you for keeping this bus running for the last 3 weeks.
Sure, of course.
I'm back to drive now. I'm baby driver.
I will not shoot your headphones off.
Thank
your
you.
Ears. Also, I didn't bother you like a lot of other shows.
No.
To make an appearance.
You could have, though.
I knew you'd be coming back.
You could have.
Not the point of paternity leave.
You had a couple things for me during the break.
Yeah, there's some stuff I needed you to do.
Yeah. But you took care of business, Josh.
That's right.
And you didn't complain about it, or at least I didn't hear that much about it.
That's good that you didn't hear about it.
That's what this show is all about.
Not hearing about it. Oh, I didn't hear about that. Tell me.
Yeah, we didn't. We don't hear about a lot of things, actually. So yes, thank you to everybody, and thanks for being back. Let's go. It's football season time. Let's do this thing. Figured we'd spend a couple minutes talking about that today. All right, we'll return with Sam McKewon on the other side. We'll ask him about the potential quarterback announcement coming soon, maybe.
Keep watching those Pete tweets.
And many other Husker football-related topics with Sam coming up on 1620 The Zone. But first, a message from our friends from the FanDuel Sportsbook. You've heard us talk about FanDuel. And, of course, you should go there for all your wagering needs. It's America's #1 sportsbook, after all. But here's the added bonus for right now. Right now through September 22nd, you had a few weeks to get on this. All FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket for YouTube and YouTube TV. Josh, I could tell you firsthand that I will indeed be taking advantage of this. It sounds like like I'm gonna make a $5 bet, and I'm gonna need Sunday Ticket, and I have YouTube TV, so I really checks all the boxes for me. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out of market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel any time. All you have to do is head to FanDuel.com/Happer, download America's #1 sportsbook, get in on this deal right now. Once again, FanDuel.com/Happer. 21 and over, President Iowa, full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after the free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF. All right, welcome back. We're the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. That's right. This is live. It's August 19th at 1:08 p.m. And we're joined now in the 42 Degrees The Source hotline by Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald, omaha.com. Sam, good afternoon, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, man. Welcome back.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So we were talking about rules comments earlier on. I mean, he was asked the question about just like how was the scrimmage, and he gave this kind of like pretty good rundown of where he felt like the team was. And in there, he said, we got a lot of guys. I think we got a bunch of guys who could execute. Now we need some more. In order to do that, he needs, better players, as you wrote about today. He needs blue chip, players, and he needs those guys to, to really have success when they get on the field. He needs them to produce. So they only have what they have right now, Sam. Like, where do you feel like this group is at, and where do you feel like that will get them when the season rolls around?
I think they've got enough good players to win a lot of games this year. I think it's a question of maximizing it. I was trying to say maximalization.
Maximalizing?
So, I don't know. Tired. But yeah, I mean, I think they've got more than enough players to do what everybody would love to see this year. I think if we're talking like long term, we're talking like winning the show and getting in the playoffs, then trickier. You got to get more. You got to get more good players. You need to get more guys in the system that can go, win you a game against Ohio State. But I think they can start with just getting good at playing the teams that they've got on their schedule and beating those teams with better execution and superior talent. I think if you look at the recruiting, rankings of I don't know, Nebraska versus every opponent they have, I'm pretty confident that there's only two opponents on the schedule that have higher recruiting rankings than Nebraska. So this is not a question of their ability to get good players. Nebraska's always been able to do that.
Yep.
It's a question of getting fit. Do those players fit, and are they developed? And we go into this 105-man era, it's going to get really important. And I think Rule's really good at it, actually. I think he does a good job of creating a culture that people want to be a part of. And this is, to me, very important. I think he's good at creating clarity of expectations. Sorry, there's some sort of lawnmower outside here. He's really good at that. So he does a really good job of being clear about what he expects from everybody. And hopefully that means on the front end, there are guys that are like, yeah, I don't want to be about that. And they just don't show up.
Yeah.
They don't commit to Nebraska. Whereas he's able to land the guys that he wants to be about Nebraska, and they're successful in attracting those players. I think that's as much an issue, especially in the Frost era, as anything. Scott admitted it a couple times. He's like, yeah, we've got to do a better job of identifying players. And he was right. They had a lot of guys leave. So I think Rule's done a better job of that. But, I use Principal Umanyalan not in a bad way. I think he's super talented, and I think he's going to be a really good player at Nebraska. But, we tend to have this habit of putting a lot of emphasis on development. But when we think about that, we think about, the 0-star walk-on. Develop that guy. Now, how about you develop the 4-star?
Yes.
You spend all that time and effort recruiting. That's okay. And some of this is built on Nebraska's, media and fan memory of what won games in the 80s and the 90s. They act like the program was built on walk-ons, and walk-ons helped. But that's not why they won national championships. They won national championships because they had elite players, and those elite players maximized their ability in Nebraska.
Did you get the sense that Rule felt like he had enough, game-breaking type of play? Like, I got the sense in his whole, it was like a 2.5-minute kind of thing on the scrimmage and whatever, that he's got a bunch of guys who could execute right now. And he's still looking for those, dudes who can give them the game-breaking type of plays. Was that the sense that you got as well?
Yeah, I think they're getting to the point where what they want is not just guys that know the playbook and are effective at not making huge mistakes, but are actually putting opponents on their heels. And so I think there's a desire to get guys in there, and it's 3rd and 6, and they go make a play. It isn't, well, I ran the right route, but I didn't get the ball thrown to me, because I'm not very quick and that kind of thing. I think they want players who can get that done, particularly at the running back position. I've asked a lot during camp, as have a few others, about that position. And again, the default setting is that Nebraska's, if you talk to a lot of media, they've got a good situation at running back. And, oh man, I don't know that I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think you have to have somebody, and maybe Emmett Johnson's that guy, maybe Ramirez. You got to have somebody who can go and make a play and scare people. And this idea that look what Iowa's doing. Well, yeah, look what Iowa's doing.
Yeah, they can't run the ball.
Yeah, and they're putting a bunch of guys in the NFL on defense, and they had the best punter in school history. If you want to do it the way Iowa's doing it, well, then you've got a ways to go there too. Iowa's really good in the defensive secondary, and nobody should kid themselves. They're turning out a Cam Taylor-Britt every year. So they're special in other areas. And so people have to, you gotta have running backs, good ones. I know what the NFL's doing with running backs, and neat for them. But the reality is, at the collegiate level, you should have a 1,000-yard back at Nebraska. I think that should be just sort of a standard.
Me too.
That's the one position where Nebraska really shouldn't have that much of an issue getting good players. And for whatever reason, they've gotten better receivers than they have running backs out of the transfer portal. And, that's something, again, that I think they would like to see change. And we'll see what happens.
I'm curious about that part of it, Sam, what you just said. They'd like to see that change. I don't know that I'm convinced on that. I feel like some of this, they missed on, they had a recruit committed to the class who I know they thought very highly of and lost him, and Kawan Lacey. So, there's some things where they've fallen short a little bit, but I feel like there's almost been this acceptance of we're going to have a room that plays 3 guys and we're just going to split it up that way. And, to a certain extent, you're always going to have that a little bit, but I feel like by design, this is a room that doesn't have game breakers. I don't know. Am I getting the wrong read on that?
I don't know that you're getting the wrong read on it, but Matt Rule is making a different conversation. That's, part of what he said, and then Barthel said it earlier in camp. I think there's a little bit different conversation. Yes, I think that's probably the way it was built.
Yeah. So that's a change.
Yeah. I mean, Gabe Ervin has had a rough go with the injuries. He's a talented guy, and it's too bad what's happened there. But I think there's a desire to have a different conversation there. That it's not a crime if you go get Jahmyr Gibbs. It's not a crime if you get a guy that can catch the ball and run it, and maybe he totals up to 1,400 total yards. The guy at Kansas, he's a good player. He was in Lawrence. He picked Kansas over Nebraska. I think Neal is his last name. He's a good player.
Yep.
And so there's all kinds of situations where, again, you don't have to necessarily have just one, but there's really nothing wrong with having an elite back if that's what you want to do. And you have to build priority toward it, but you also have to begin to say, guys, we're not just asking you to do the medium amount here. We need you to go to the next level. The pass rush is the same way. And the reason I use Princewell as an example is I think Princewell has the ability to be an elite pass rusher. Maybe James Williams does. We'll see. He certainly has some components, but when you hear things like, well, they're going to get it done with blitzes at depth. Blitzes at depth don't always work. You can go back and look at the deciding and defining plays in the Wisconsin-Nebraska game last year, and 2 different times. Tanner Mordecai is he's caught and he gets away. The reason he gets away is he's watching the guy from 7 yards away run at it. That's what blitzes at depth do. Sometimes they get home, and that's great. It is great. I mean it. But when you blitz from 7 yards away, the one thing the quarterback can do is see you. The one thing a quarterback can't do is put eyes in the back of his head and be able to see the guy that's on his blind side. And that's why you've got to have those players. And Nebraska's got to, they've got to find one and develop at least one and preferably two. And, that's where Prince William and Yellen comes in. That's where they've got to get good. They've got great interior defensive linemen who can stuff the run, and that's awesome. Nash Hutmaker and Ty Robinson are actually pretty good, interior pass rushers. But again, what you want is somebody who can come around that edge and close everything down that the quarterback can't see. And so there's multiple positions on the field where if Nebraska's going to get great, like where Ohio State and Oregon are, they have to get elite players at those positions, and back and pass rusher are two of them.
Sam, how much are you interested in the way in which Nebraska will announce, in the timing in which Nebraska will announce their starting quarterback for week 1?
I'm interested. That's a great question. It could be this week. It could be next Monday with a depth chart release. There's so many different ways you could look at that. And I'm actually really intrigued to see how Nebraska chooses to do it. They could do it tomorrow. They could do it Wednesday on the radio with Matt Rule. They could choose some other time that I'm not aware of to do it. They've got some opportunities in there. Friday, they could let fans go to fan day and know that Dylan's a starter. I don't know. That's going to be an intriguing thing. So if you think your quarterback play is going to be better than last year, and you had that starting quarterback pretty much locked up for all of camp last year, then I don't know what the harm is in naming it. But again, there's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different philosophies with that. And I think that's probably what we have here is we have a situation where there's a lot of different philosophies at play, and they'll make their decision. And we'll probably learn the black shirts week 1. We'll probably learn the single digit jersey numbers either this week or next week, whenever we learn it. It'll come up.
The common refrain on why not announce the starting quarterback has been like, well, they don't want to put too much pressure on him and all that stuff. I introduced kind of this idea, maybe it's not new, but I think there is a certain, maybe you were hinting at this too, like there is a certain delicacy with how they want to look at Heinrich Harburg. It even came out, when Rule was talking, when he was asked about it on Saturday, like, how are you going to do this? And, he mentioned, well, we had a starter last year who's still on the roster. Like, how much do you think that is playing a role in how they're handling the quarterback situation right now?
It could play a role. I think there's certainly a respect that they want to have for Harburg and Kalen, and at the same time, I think probably everybody's clear about it. The things that I've heard about Harburg, he's still good at the things that he's still good at, and he's getting better as a passer, but not where the potential is with Raiola. There's just a different, I think, potential there. And so can you put Harburg in positions where he's on the field? I think you can. I think if Harburg has the potential to play at the next level, but if he's honest, that's going to be at, an H-back position. So he can decide when he wants to make that jump. And the minute that they do that, I think we'll know why they weren't too worried about, getting 4 tight ends in the most recent class. This is a guy that can be really, really good for them. It's tricky, like you said, because he's probably their number 2 quarterback. Is Jalen Gramstad prepared? Do you want to burn Danny Kalen's red shirt? Danny Kalen, and I think Matt Rule was sincere about his praise in Kalen on Saturday. There are things that Danny Kalen does that are really, really good. They are. There's things he does that are very impressive. I was impressed with him in high school, and I think that's still true. He just doesn't quite have that same arm strength.
Yeah.
I do think there is a moment in time where he could reach and potentially surpass Raiola's grasp of the offense. Raiola's a little bit ahead of the game, I think, because he's been doing this so long and he's got pro coaches and all these other things. I think Kalen's going to be a super smart quarterback, kind of like Raiola is, but it's going to take it's going to take a little bit of time.
Just hasn't quite
And I
popped
think-
yet.
Yeah, like there's a lot of qualities about Kalen that are really impressive. In a different universe, Raiola sticks with Georgia. A, Raiola's not playing this year. Carson Beck is. B, Cal McCord is here, and Danny Kalen is redshirting. I mean, there is a definite alternate universe to Nebraska football this season. What's interesting, Connor, is if I'm going to be really honest, I don't know that I would have deemed Nebraska's season any different in terms of my prediction.
I know. Yeah.
Whether McCord or Raiola is the quarterback. The difference, if there's going to be a difference, is in the next 2 years. I really don't. I mean, there's an outside chance Nebraska gets to 10-2 this year and, throws its wallet on the table for the playoff. But I don't see that. I think it's going to be 8-4, somewhere in there. But next year, if you give Raiola a whole season and you come back with another season, that's when it could get special. And so there's the difference. I think they could have probably had as good of a season with McCord as they would have Raiola. You don't get the extra seasons. You're starting completely over next year with a quarterback who didn't play, which probably would have been Kalen. This way, if you start it now and you feel like you can still win the same amount of games, which I think they can, then next year you're ahead of the game. And so I think that's part of why they made the decision they made, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know that Kalen's going to be here for 4 years. I mean, he's going to have some opportunity. He's going to have to chew on how long he wants to wait, if he has to wait, all those things. But it's an interesting conversation with all of it for sure.
Sam, great stuff as always. Great to talk to you. Good to see you over the last couple of weeks as well at the practices. And we'll talk soon.
Take care.
Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. How many times have I said exactly that?
Which part? The running back part?
We handshake me one a lot there.
Yeah.
But this season in particular, if you're looking at it in the vacuum of this season, I'm not excited about it because of Dylan Raiola.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it because of the progression that they've made throughout the and Dylan Raiola's real difference doesn't really show itself this year.
Right.
It's what he's going to be when he really gets to the top of what he's going to be. Can Dylan Raiola be just as good, if not better, than any Husker quarterback who's taken the field in the last 10 years for them?
Yeah.
Now? Yes. Is he going to be better than all of them in a year? Yes. Yeah.
If he becomes what everyone thinks he's going to become, like, top 10 NFL draft pick or whatever, first round NFL draft pick, you got him playing here before he pops.
And how much of the running back conversation, what Sam just talked about, and the little change in philosophy or thought process on how to build the room, when did that get escalated? I don't know. Probably when you got the 5-star quarterback and you want to surround him with the best with the best player you possibly can, so it's not all on his shoulders. Maybe
Makes a lot of sense.
Maybe right around that time. All right, we'll be back with more next on 1620 The Zone. right, a couple things here. First, Colt McCoy's got a new job.
Hell yeah.
Colt McCoy will be joining NBC for their coverage of Big Ten football.
Look at you making a movie reference.
NBC. I know about that. What is it from?
Private Parts.
I only know that because my dad said it all the time.
Your dad's a Howard Stern guy.
He is a Howard Stern
There
guy.
you go.
Yes, he loves Howard Stern. Yeah, Howard Stern's pretty funny. There's some good stuff on there. Has he been canceled yet? He probably should have been.
No, I mean, he's kind of in the outposts of Sirius XM. His
gotcha.
people listen to it. It really doesn't invite outside audience.
Is like Alex Jones.
A little bit in that, well, how do I get Howard Stern?
Yeah, you have to really make an effort to get it.
yeah.
But the people who have it are like, I'm never leaving this.
That's my guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And Colt McCoy, speaking of working for NBC, he has his first assignment. He will be joining NBC as the color commentator, game analyst for Colorado, Nebraska on September 7th, which will be broadcast on NBC at night in Lincoln.
Colt McCoy's working the game?
Colt McCoy's working the game.
That's his first game?
Yes. He will be working alongside Paul Burmeister and Catherine Tappan, which led me to the question,
who are these people?
did Nebraska not get the A crew for the Colorado game?
That's right, Connor. They did not.
What happened? What's Notre Dame doing?
They are hosting Northern Illinois.
This is garbage.
At 2:30.
This is garbage. Nebraska didn't get Blackledge and whoever else does the NBC game because Notre Dame's playing Northern Illinois at 2:30 and they can't make it across the country in an hour. Sad. This is disappointing. And now we have to deal with Colt McCoy in his first ever game.
Learning on the job.
From Paul Burmeister. I'm not familiar with Paul Burmeister's work.
Sorry, I'm not familiar with your game.
I'm definitely not familiar with and what a big stage to immediately jump onto.
Yeah. Paul Burmeister, American sports commentator.
What's he famous for? Did he do a slur at any point?
Well,
that's how we know broadcasters now.
No, first of all, he's from Iowa City. So there's an
You gotta
Iowa
be
City
kidding me.
native and a Texan on the call for this.
This is ass. NBC is
don't love
canceled.
this.
NBC is done.
Paul Burmeister, it says here, is the radio voice for Notre Dame football. I guess not anymore. Update your Wikipedia page.
What do we
Paul.
know about Catherine Tappan? What's she doing? Catherine,
Oklahoma.
where's she coming from?
He's hosted the Tour de France.
Oh,
has
she
Paul
did
Burmeister.
she did some Olympics, right? She was on there.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Tappan works on NBC's coverage of Notre Dame football.
Not anymore.
She went to Rutgers.
Oh.
She went to Rutgers. Okay. What's going on here? We have been saboed by NBC already.
They hate him.
This is sick. This is disgusting.
10 seasons of work at NFL Network as well for Paul Burmeister.
I'm sure he's great. Colt McCoy in his first ever game. Just because Notre Dame has to play Northern Illinois. This is garbage. So that's your crew for. Don't they have a theme song? Big Ten Saturday Night.
It's something by Fall Out Boy.
It's not fall. It's not that song.
Oh,
it's like an almost that song. It's the same idea, and they just yell Saturday Night, but it's not that song. Anyway, just put the game on mute or go to the game, and then listen to Big Red Overreaction live from Lincoln.
Gotta listen to Big Red Overreaction.
Ooh, that's gonna be something. If Colt McCoy makes a 1 second joke, I will go down up because we'll be in the press box. I will be a mere steps away. I'll go there and I will choke him out. I will go like the hitman and you're done.
Just watch your Twitter account. If you see people talking about it, that's when you know you gotta.
Yeah. If he makes any even veiled reference at that game, he's done.
What if it happens? Like at the Nebraska Colorado game, a similar play where they're like, no, there's actually 1 second left. The ball went out of bounds. And then he has to acknowledge.
No, he has to shut up. That's what he has to do.
I wouldn't know anything about this, Paul.
He cannot say a single thing. He has to shut up. I don't know. I don't know anything about. I don't know anything about his personality. Will he be good at this? I have no idea. But that's a big assignment for week 1, my friend.
Boy, he literally retired from the NFL today and got that job. Like,
ridiculous.
This had to have been in the works for quite some time.
CJ writes in on YouTube.
Hi, CJ.
I hope they have highlights showing Sue just wrecking Colt McCoy. Yeah, but unfortunately, he kind of got the last laugh in that one.
I mean,
I thought we were going to do Shador's mixtape for that game. We got a lot of different stuff going on.
We need to get our ducks in a row here.
Who do we hate? Is it Colt McCoy or is it Colorado?
Should that be a week of hate?
It's definitely hate week. Charles writes in.
Hi, Charles.
Colt McCoy will ask for one more second before a commercial break, and I will lose it. Once again, no references.
Just get one more tick.
Maybe in honor of, him, this getting announced today. He's listening to local sports radio. You, Colt.
Trying to get a feel.
Don't even think about it. Don't even try. It's time plus tragedy, right? We're just getting over Abraham Lincoln today. We are not getting over the 1 second thing. Not that it was a bad call or whatever. We're just not getting over losing that game. We are not getting over it.
Right.
We are not getting over losing that game.
That's the one of kind of
and I don't even
your
care.
generation, my generation.
Like it's not about what it changes. It's not about what happens after that or whatever. It's just I wanted that one so bad.
That's the one you wanted the most.
That is definitely my answer to that question.
Yeah.
If we did a poll question or whatever, like if you could just change the result in a vacuum of one game.
There's no domino
post
effect,
Osborne.
Just
it's either that one or 0-1 Colorado.
Yeah.
Keep that kid from crying.
Probably cry about something else. You're familiar with this. Kids cry a lot.
Yeah, it's a cry baby. Yeah, I was probably doing the same at my aunt and uncle's house in 2001. But one more thing before we take a quick time out and get the polls and get out of here. I got to get my Royals stuff in. Today,
please.
Somebody made a super cut of Rex Hudler making guttural noises every time he thinks a home run has been hit. And guess what? He's never missed. Never lost like LeVar Ball. He's never missed. Every time he makes a sound, a home run gets hit. Here's some examples.
He missed there, but Salvi didn't. And look at that.
Oh, how many marks can hold that one?
Leader in RBIs. And he's got more.
Vinny. Deep right field. And now Melendez. Whoa. Look at that.
Salvi, baby.
The ball. They got on top of that one. Usually do.
Get out.
And Vinny smokes it to right.
There you go.
Sometimes Hud does it, and this bat has not even been swung yet, which is of great appreciation to me.
So many of those home runs in the back half of that clip were out of the zone.
Yeah, Bobby Witt Jr. does that a lot. As a person who sits at my house and watches the Royals games and does that exact same thing, Rex Hudler is greatly appreciated. Thank you, Rex.
They were mashing in those clips. Those were all no doubters.
It's been a fun ride. We're just enjoying it for what it is right now, Josh. Not anything more than that.
Please take me with you.
That's all. Yeah, what's happened to you the last 3 weeks, and because you were not in a good place when I left on the Braves. Not in a good place.
Yeah, just pain. It was pain everywhere.
Has it got any better? I don't even know.
Sort of started to right the ship, and then yesterday, Austin Riley broke his hand, so he'll be out for the rest of the regular season. Just really feels like it's not going to happen.
And you're okay with this? Or you have accepted this?
I've made my peace with it.
Right.
You got 7 left against the Phillies, but seems unlikely.
Alan tweets in.
Hi, Alan.
I was at that Big 12 title game after Nebraska lost in that field goal. I saw a Texas fan get knocked out in a brawl in the lower bowl. Consolation prize.
Incredible.
That does make it a little bit better. That guy just got knocked the bleep out. That makes me feel a little better. Let's go home.
My grandmama gave me that chain.
Poll questions. Tell you what to watch next on 1620 The Zone.
He gives you the latest sports news, interviews, and life-changing commentary with a smile on his face. Because he wears those ticklish underpants.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, so the polls at Happer Show on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Are handball snobs the worst? Yes.
Forgot about that one. Yeah.
74% say yes. Does Dylan Raiola know the words to Rob Zombie's Dragula?
I don't think
No.
so.
79% say no. Has Connor Happer seen the terminal the most times out of anyone in the world? Yes.
Yeah, I think so, actually. I know it seems impossible or unlikely. But
This is the thing that I am most likely to be the best at out of anyone in the world. 74% say yes. Is Irish revenge different than regular revenge?
Absolutely.
Seems that way. 86% say yes. Would you like to be attacked by ravioli?
What a way to go.
I would. 55% say yes. Is there an over-pestoization of society? Too much pesto.
I think there was like it like at the same time the sun-dried tomato was really popping. Everybody was putting their sun-dried tomatoes with their pesto.
Everybody was talking about aiolis. 54% say no. They're fine with the amount of pesto that has entered their life. Have you ever purchased a hutch? No.
No.
I've been given many.
Yes.
76% say no. Do you own a hutch?
Now this should flip.
I currently don't. I ditched all my hutches.
You ditched your hutches?
Yeah. So a little less. 67% say no.
Okay.
And finally, is there an age when you start liking leather? It seems that way.
Yeah.
68% say yes.
Almost nice.
Those are the polls, Josh. What are we watching tonight?
We're watching Major League Baseball. Free game of the day on MLB TV. 6 o'clock first pitch in the Great White North as the Blue Jays host the Reds. Diamondbacks and the Marlins, 5:30 on MLB Network. And FS1 has the Padres hosting the Twins at 8:40. Your favorite event, the Little League World Series, is going on right now on ESPN.
Yeah.
You get the Mountain team versus the West team. That's going to start here in a matter of minutes.
Mountain West.
On ESPN. No, not the Mountain West.
Mountain versus West.
That's right. I believe the West
It's like if there was a Mountain West Conference Civil War.
Oh, there almost was when Utah and BYU were in it.
Yeah.
4 o'clock start on ESPN. Asia Pacific versus Cuba, followed by Southeast versus Southwest.
I always do like the foreign teams.
Oh,
There's one that's usually really, really fun, whichever country it is.
Yeah. NFL programming. A 27-hour, I'm not sure why it's 27 hours, but a 27-hour fantasy football marathon begins tonight at 6 o'clock on ESPN2 with Fantasy Football Now. It flips over to ESPN at 8 o'clock. It ends tomorrow with a live 10-team draft.
Whatever.
I guess. Peacock has the streaming debut of all 7 seasons of the Emmy award-winning drama from the 90s, Homicide, Life on the Streets. It not only stars the late Andre Brower from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, also introduced us to Law & Order SVU's Detective John Munch, played by the late Richard Belzer. A lot of lates in Homicide, Life on the Street. First time it's ever been on streaming.
I thought you were going to say something that meant something to me, but it does not.
I mean, it's a Monday, Connor. It's not a lot.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That's what we're watching tonight. That's the show. If you missed anything, you could find it all at 1620thezone.com. Time for a crossover. I'm excited to do another crossover.
Hell yeah.
Next.